Hey guys, yeah, welcome back to the action. And yeah, we do have our first, we are playing Gameking, of course, against Megamogwai, and we do have the first.
Nilfgaard ban. We got there. Megamogwai made such an impression with this Emir list that Gameking wants nothing to do with it at all. It's so strangely superior the way it actually manipulates the opponent's deck. We actually have Emir Var Emrys banned
Mhm.
for the first time in a major Gwent tournament. I would think this would
That's
qualify as that.
amazing.
Like
I mean,
that is
specifically with
there's
this
something.
meta.
Not only do we see all three leaders, not only do we see Reveal win games, and not only do we see Emir go undefeated every time Mogwai played it, but it's gotten to the point where Game King just doesn't want to take any chances,
Mhm,
letting
mhm.
Dagon through, letting Mogwai is, he's the Nilfgaard champion, and
Yes.
he's shown that. He's flexed his muscles, and Game King is respecting that. And this finals is set up to be fantastic. I mean, Mogwai versus Game King. It's good. Spanish versus Austria, right?
Yeah, and I
Spain
mean,
versus
basically,
Austria.
also already the entire game. I mean, we started this off. I mean, we had some expectations, but those expectations got completely overwhelmed by what actually happened. I
Hmm.
mean, we had those games, and yes, also those matches, and we were thinking that there might be some good matches in between, some maybe not that good, and just having a good and a nice time. But what actually turned out to be is like every freaking match was super
Yep.
awesome. Some even topped it, and really like going into the day to day, awesome match topped another awesome match, topped by another awesome match.
Yeah.
Even the last one, I mean, it was like, I mean,
Yeah.
that DJ Extra, man.
That
Oh
last
man,
series, everybody was yelling.
that
You
was
heard the casters yelling. We were all yelling. We were all there with you guys on the edge of our seats. So we hope the finals can bring a lot of excitement. But if we're going to
oh
crown
yeah,
a champ, we're going to crown a Gwentogether champ, the first Gwentogether champ.
that's right.
And it could be Game King. It could be Mega Mogwai. But it's going to be great. It's going to be
Yeah,
great. And
I'm
we're
really
ready to
looking.
go.
I'm super hyped. Like
Hmm.
I'm really looking forward to that. Not seeing Nifka though from
I mean,
Mogwai.
it would be great to see Nilfgaard in the finals, but
The ban, right? I mean,
the
that says
ban
everything.
is that's such a statement, right? It's such a
Yes,
statement. So
yes.
it's a statement to Mogwai and it's a statement to Game King. Game
Hmm.
King's respect and Mogwai's skill. It's really that's like such a highlight for us, I
Oh
think.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
I
And
mean, it's going to come down to seeing, Bran, Henselt, Ethna, and Dagon, who have been represented as those factions. Well, we did see Game King. Game King's actually got a full test list, I believe. Is that not right?
oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
So we will see at least full test and Henselt being the difference here. But, ultimately it's going to come down to, the list that we expected to see and that the unexpected scary lists actually
Got
being,
banned.
yeah, get shut down. There's
Okay.
full test. That's what we're talking about.
So
All
you
right.
can actually create the standard ladder meta if you basically ban out the decks which are not being played on ladder. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. You eliminate the surprise factor. Although I don't think Game King would be surprised. He just believes that there's so many ways for that mill to win. It's very
yes.
very disorienting, and it takes a different level of planning. But we've already seen that deck do really really well. But now we get to see the champion being crowned here. So very excited, and we already got lead off here. Scoia'tael Dwarves versus Megamogwai taking Dagon right into the fray.
Hmm.
Uh, and
Also very good
Let's
hand.
get ready.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it's
all
decent. Yeah.
goldens in their hand. I mean, if we assume Gilles putting the last golden, which is a woodland spirit, I mean, then Mega Mogwai is basically starting with all goldens in their hand. Becca's Twisted Mirror also very strong.
Hmm.
I mean, we saw Becca's Twisted Mirror delivering a whooping 42
That
sets
was a
earlier that day.
that was a beautiful. I mean, say what you want about that card, but those moments, I mean, it's tough when you encounter it,
Yeah.
but when you get to see it actually kind of command a game like that in a tournament setting, it's really something. So.
Yeah, I mean, I also really like it in a monster build because you can just
Mhm.
also put it with shields. So maybe even if you don't have it in your hand, oh, the caretaker just went away. Oh, the
The
golden
mulligan of
card.
the did Mogwai mulligan caretaker? I mean, I guess you want to set yourself up for the strongest round one possible, and
Yeah.
caretaker is not good in round one. It's a better later draw, so I can see where Mogwai's coming from there. You just want like the strongest possible cards because round one is proving to be very very important, especially against dwarves. Very hard to pass against dwarves, and staying ahead of dwarves is really important. Caretaker just won't really do that.
Yeah,
And of
but
course, there's Gauss that can make it happen if you need it, but
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't quite agree with it, Mulligan, because I mean, first of all, I really, really dislike Mulligan golden
Yeah,
cards.
that's the big thing.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's one thing, but the other thing is that by Mulligan, the caretaker, Mogwai actually renders shields like not being the first choice of play, right? Because
Hmm.
otherwise, Mogwai could have just opted in to play Shields into Woodland Spirit right away.
That's true.
And in this case, I mean, he can still, of course, put the silver card, but
Hmm.
I mean, that's not quite the same power level.
Well, I mean, I still expect to see Dagon within like the first couple of turns, if not this turn here. Mogwai is just kind of weighing his options here.
Hmm.
He's choosing to actually play behind here, and I mean, that's fine. He probably just wants to see a little bit more from Game King, although it's going to be what we expect. Like it's the Game King's got that really cool list, right? He's got Aglace, which
Hmm.
I know that he was interested in using Aglace against Spec's Twisted Mare, but
Right.
the problem is monsters have so many options, so many one strength units that they can create, so it's not necessarily good. But Commander's Horn is a different story. So, but we don't see Aglace in any hand at the moment, but. It's just worth noting that it's there, and of course Eisengrim as well. Some of really cool tech choices for Game King.
Yeah, that's right. So, hmm. Okay, Algiate becomes pulled. I mean, that Algiate is like, I don't know, it just creates a little bit more carryover,
Hmm.
just one silver slot spot. Um, yeah, would really like to see some kind of weather coming down here.
Hmm.
I mean, Mogwai didn't play the weather kind of early last time, but I
Hmm.
think this time he should definitely opt in to do so, specifically with this water egg in the hand. Because if he weathers now with Frost, he can also threaten like water hack swipe in if Game King chooses to play these little dwarves, right? So just killing one of these dwarves right away. I mean that's of tremendous importance specifically because he has to be afraid of an elven mercenary buffing those 3 minions
Hmm.
because with Olgierd, I mean there will be 2 minions and then there is the option to play this elven mercenary very soon.
Now Megamogwai is looking to, he's placing the Harpy on the melee row, and he did this last time he played monsters as well. He was fine just stacking that melee row, threatening a Commander's Horn while not actually holding it. And I mean, he does have the Thunderbolt Potion, but that Harpy really could have gone anywhere at all. But it's just like an interesting nuance of Mogwai's play, is choosing to play things in a line on the melee row, just knowing that his opponent doesn't have a lacerate or really a lot of control at all. He's free to do that. So. And so now the resilience is coming out, and I agree with you. Weather needs to start happening
Mhm.
now. Weather loses value in a long round if it's not played, and the benefit of thinning as well. And we can expect to see a fog at some point this round as well. Dagon, I would imagine Dagon is probably going to be Mogwai's next play, and now Game King is. The front row being weathered is always difficult because the Mahakam defenders are locked, so they
Mhm.
always have to go in there, and so you can expect that every turn that Frost is going to get value.
Yeah, definitely. Oh wow. Okay, that's a very. Oh really?
Hmm.
Oh wow. I mean
Well, I
that.
think with the immune boost in hand, he's thinking he'll just layer it up, play immune boost. I mean, we've
Oh,
seen we've seen Gamekin play
holy
Ithleen
moly.
into immune boost, and then use Ethna for an extra layer of armor, making them untouchable. We saw that really in the Axeman matchup with Fave. So I think that he's just really not scared of the weather, and probably fine to Mogwai taking care of one of those dwarves. That's
Oh, of
decent.
course.
Two of the
Yeah,
dwarves, two of the
exactly.
dwarves, of
Yeah.
course. That's actually really good. I would say that's very that's very good.
No, yeah,
Taking
sure.
out
And
two of the four major threats, the three Mahakam defenders in Yarpen. And now Yarpen is vulnerable to any other weather that Mogwai wants to play here.
yeah, even the Fiend. I mean,
Hmm. Hmm.
his move also doesn't help too much. And I mean, it can pull Olgierd out of the weather, of course, but that's not insane. And I think Game King really realizes because I mean, he knew about this water hack, and I think he just maybe didn't take his time to think about the play and playing directly into this water hack.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think that might have been quite a blunder, honestly, because losing two of your main win conditions against
Hmm.
a single card. I mean, that's really huge.
Game King is holding on to Ithleen, and we know how devastating that can be. We've seen. I think the highest carryover was 57. So there's
That's right.
such a devastating amount of carryover that can be provided by Ithleen and the buffs for
Hmm.
dwarves. So we're going to get to see. How Game King wants to navigate that as the fog comes down here, the foglets as well, keeping this game pretty close still. Game King is, Mogwai has got the coin advantage at this point, so he
Yeah.
can play pretty liberally, but I assume that he would definitely want to get ahead here, and the attrition of the weather is going to be good unless Game King decides to clear it.
Yeah, I mean we know that Megamogwai is actually not playing Igni in his list, but he is playing this Twisting Mirror. So
Hmm.
if Gameking gets too careless about it and begins buffing his Siege Row a lot, the Twisted Mirror will really hit tremendously for, I mean, whatever, like 28 stats next round
Hmm.
if he decides to horn now, maybe even more, maybe even
Hmm.
36 stats. Specifically, his lean is coming down and he
When the world
doesn't
first
play
begins.
around making Yapen the biggest minion. I'm pretty confident that, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So
Oh, there
a
is
clear
clear.
into rally, I guess. Yeah.
Oh,
So what are we going to see? There's that last dwarf.
okay. But that's interesting as well because clearing this weather basically also makes him vulnerable to another weather effect, just as a possibility. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and we do
that's
see Karen Theer in hand, so that is a possibility.
okay.
So Fiend will take care of one of these, and with Ithleen being played now the double adrenaline rush is already off the table early in the game, I would
Exactly.
say,
Exactly. Yeah.
and but I think it was the only sure way. We know the Game King's only running the one Clear Skies,
Hmm.
First Light. I apologize, First Light, and I mean that's a lot of value out of Ithleen being able to clear the weather and rally out another dwarf. You'll take that, but here comes Caranthir, and he's going to start doing some damage as well.
Yeah, I really like current tier here. I mean, if you want to get some damage off your weather, you should do it now. And not only is current tier denying the weather, like not dealing the damage over turns, but he's also denying the commander's horn. So I really also like that he puts exactly those three minions, basically splitting off the entire minions from Gameking here. And now suddenly the horn doesn't look as good as the horn looked before.
Yeah, I think Mogwai has been playing this very well. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
absolutely.
really kind of trying to foil the strategy that Game King would like to incorporate with the adjacent units, and of
Yes.
course the constant attrition of weather. I mean, Yarpin isn't going to be taking any damage, but Fiend is going to take care. Timeen's going to get a lot of value here, likely. And even if Fiend is not used on Yarp, and Becker's Twisted Mirror is still an option. I mean, even right now it's 22 points.
Yeah, and with this play, Megamogwai also kind of set up the middle row as the buffing row. But what Game King doesn't know, I mean, he can probably anticipate it, but if he decides to buff the middle row
There will
like
be no
tremendously, then
negotiation.
the Twisted Mirror will even hit harder. So that's really interesting as well.
Hmm. Lots of commitment here from both players. I mean, we've seen both leaders be played. We've seen Ithleen being played and Karen through. These are big power
Yes.
cards from both players. So it's round one is very very important for both. I mean, generally it is important, but it's especially important if you want to have carryover. It's Mogwai is in more or less. I don't want to say a must-win position because
Yeah.
we've seen some big odds overcome. I think in this tournament so far, but to play it safe, you definitely want to take care of the dwarves in round one. And Becker's is looking very good at any given time
Oh,
here.
I don't like the Fiend here. I mean, he wants
Mm.
to. I mean, he has this Becker's Mirror, and the Becker's Mirror is hitting so hard on Yarpen, like
Hmm.
for 30 stats, maybe even for 40 stats later. So, I mean, if this Fiend is coming on Yarpen, I mean, he's taking 8 stats from him away, and that's like punishing himself for like 16 stats. If he decides to play the Twisted Mirror in this round, that is.
Well, it's possible that he still plays Twisted Mirror. It's possible that Game King keeps pushing with buffs. He does have the adjacent units, and he's probably going to be able to create a road that's more favorable to Commander's Horn. And in the end, it may end up that Yarpen is buffed up to a point where it is still going to be 13 plus stats, or maybe Olgierd in this case. But with Ithleen off the table, Mogwai is now just quickly reacting, just trying to get ahead with the same buffing strategy here.
Yeah, I think Mogai also wanted to maybe set up a situation where he can keep at least one of those eggs to be sure and to also be safe against Aglies. So
Hmm.
that might have also been one reason to play it that way. But then maybe an Earth Elemental would have also done the same job. So that was not entirely clear. It's also interesting to say that Eithne is actually already being used from Gameking. So
Hmm.
Gameking doesn't even have access to double horn any longer. So if
Hmm.
he decides to play, let's say, one horn, Olgierd, making Olgierd 14 stats, Mogwai will still be able to at least interswap 26 stats, and that's huge enough.
Hmm. Yeah, it's I mean, just a lot of stuff has been played already. Like it's actually a very deep round one at this point. We've seen. I think the fact that Ithleen and Ethna are off the table changes a lot of the ways that Game King can really win this game.
Yeah,
In the
absolutely.
traditional way that dwarves do win with building huge units and then being able to apply that resilience. Here comes the commander's horn. So now Becker's looking at 26 points.
Yeah, but Mogwai wants to see more buffs.
Oh yeah, he wants to see. He wants to get his money's worth with Becker's.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Earth Elemental coming down. Gaming probably even considering a pass, but
I mean, looking at these hands right now, Mogwai will be able to take this with Becker's in any situation at this point. I
yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
yeah.
I mean, this will come as a surprise.
I mean, we know that Becker's is very strong.
Okay, so no matter where the immune boost goes on, the backers will be able to create a whooping 28 stats, and that's like really huge.
I think Gameking is pondering even playing at this point. I mean, he's the options here are they're it's dwindling here. I mean, look at Megamogwai's last two cards are powerhouse cards. Gameking just has the Merc, which is probably going to draw a Thunderbolt Potion. It's possible that the Adrenaline Rush is on the table. I mean, we've seen the one immune boost. There is the Adrenaline Rush, so
Yeah,
when the Fiend has already been played, so this could. And now the Beckers doesn't necessarily, well, it definitely does not affect the carryover. The only difference would be if Gels pulls Woodland Spirit, the Fog ticks on Olgierd, bringing him down to 12, and then a Lucky Beckers could maybe
that's right.
swap the
Yeah,
stats on Yarpin. But I mean, that's obviously not the case. Woodland Spirit isn't even on the pick here for Gels.
it's like 6 stats, 10 stats carry over for Mogwai, and at the moment, like 25 stats carry over for Gameking. Okay, that's interesting.
I mean, what is Caretaker? I mean, Caretaker could pull a dwarf out of the graveyard here, but
Oh, okay.
Caretaker is on the top of the deck as well, so you can do a lot of stuff. You can pull Yarpin. You can have Yarpin on your side if you wanted.
Yeah, I
Caretaker
mean,
does have a lot of options with dwarves.
okay, so yeah, I guess Megamogwai will definitely invest this Twisted Mirror in order to win the round. I mean, it only makes sense. I mean,
Yep,
one card to win the round. Should
there it
definitely do
is.
so. But he also overstats us now by quite a lot, by 24. So I'm really not sure whether that was the right choice.
I mean, this
Probably
is
rather,
the first
yeah.
round that went all the way down. First round, all cards played. Like I don't think this happened yet in the series, unless I may have missed it. But that's as deep of round one as you can possibly have.
Oh, this Harpy will be important. This Harpy will be super important because
Oh, and he mulliganed it away.
okay, he got an Earth Metal. That's fine as well. I mean,
Yeah,
the
it's
Harpy
fine
is
too.
6 stats, the Earth Metal is 4 stats for the future rounds. It's not too bad, guys. So, yeah, but it's just about the resilience. I mean, Mogwai knows that the resilience is out of the deck, which means he can just bleed Gameking by just playing a card, while knowing that Gameking has no options to give himself resilience besides a resilient dwarf, right? And the Harpy would have represented 6 stats for the future, like six future stats, whereas a dwarf is maximally also representing the same. So yeah, that would have definitely been an option.
Aglace in hand for Gameking, so there's options here because a lot of special cards have been played now. So we know that Becker's Twisted Mirror and Commander's Horn can be played one more time, so we will actually get that double horn if he really wants to.
Yeah, but it's not actually doing.
No, I mean you might as well just take a Thunderbolt potion, but it's just it's possible.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Agalites can resurrect from the opponent's graveyard only,
Yeah,
or yeah.
yeah, from opponent's graveyard only. It costs 4 stats on Aglace,
Exactly.
but there's Mogwai. Unlike the last time we saw Gameking with Aglace in hand, I think recently, it was against the Reveal Nilfgaard where no special cards were played whatsoever. So
Right.
at least there's an option here.
I was thinking about because of the horn. I think there is no horn there, but yeah, it's like Twisted Mirror, Thunderbolt potions, all those viable options. I mean, that's for sure. So yeah, Gameking has to even have to think about whether he wants to play a card, but I mean, obviously he will. And Igni is
has
very
to, yeah.
predestined to do so, right? Oh, he even.
Oh, he's going for it now. I wonder what this is going to be.
That's interesting because
He may not make a
Igni
choice
will
of
be
it.
a dead card in the last round, so I'm really curious whether that's the right choice. I mean, Igni is just really forced. It's just a mulligan, and the
Quick
card
pass.
quality from Gameking's deck should be really low. So I'm not sure about that.
No carryover here. Yeah, no way to apply any sort of carryover. And we do know that there is carryover from, well, it's only a difference of 2. Moyland Spirit, what a
whoa.
draw. That's the top deck you want to see.
Whoa, that's
Yeah,
like
take that, no problem.
yeah, I guess you take the 2 cards.
Yeah, I think you'd maybe think about
Yeah.
that for about half a second to hit accept.
It's pretty good. Yeah, pretty good stuff.
I mean, all the players got all their golds. Do we see the Igni get mulliganed away for a Thunderbolt Potion? This is, Mogwai's going to take this one.
Yeah, my guy is definitely gonna take this one.
Dagon doing Dagon things.
And that's why you band monsters. No,
Yeah.
no.
Well,
I mean, that's true, but Nilfgaard would have probably also take the win.
yeah, I mean, like we said, Emir went undefeated, and then Caretaker takes this one. Megamogwai going up one game in the finals already, best of 5 series. Taking Yarpin just for a little extra, sticking it to him.
Stink, yeah.
Yeah,
He could have basically also just passed, right?
he
I
could
mean,
have, yeah, he could have. But,
safe
it's
pass and
fine,
such,
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Everybody wants to play dwarves, even
Yeah.
monsters.
Not only dwarves are allowed to play Yarpen.
So that was good. Okay, so Megamogwai is going up one step closer to this championship crown.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, it's also very, very important. I mean, this whole tournament is of course quite important, and you also see that many of the players are kind of tensioned. Besides this being a very relaxed atmosphere, they are of course very tensioned because there's a lot on the line. Just because it's the first big LAN tournament after the Grand Challenger took place. But not only is it about that, but it's also about showcasing the skill in front of all of you guys. And Megamogwai specifically because he told us that, I mean, yeah, he is known for playing Nilfgaard and also, let's say, not always the maximal competitive decks. And sometimes people are even joking that, yeah, maybe he might not be that competitive. So for him, this is really like the field to prove himself.
Yeah.
And yeah, and he's doing so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And being in the finals now, already taking the first game, going up 1-0. I
Yeah.
mean, that's just really awesome.
And we know Gameking's been a #1 player. Like he's
Yes.
he's a fantastic player on the ladder, and he's proven himself very, very, very well
Yeah.
in this tournament.
That's
And
right.
but I mean, Mogwai, I think probably surprising some people, but I think a lot of people are really happy to see. It's always that unexpected stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. He also brought Milnifgard, and that
yeah, he
performed really well for him.
Sons of
So
Nilfgaard.
yeah, very innovative and also very skilled. So that's
Yeah.
awesome to see.
And Mogwai's got a lot of fans as well, so I'm sure that
Yeah,
they're
that's
really,
right.
really
Yeah.
psyched to see this already. And it's not over yet. It's not over yet. It's just one game, but it's a great start. You always, you're pretty happy winning your first game.
So his deck lists are also called his Hansel deck list is what you want peace for.
Yeah.
You want peace, fight for
You
it.
want peace, fight for it.
Then we have some Skelliger in
Yeah.
Queensguards we trust.
And here it is too. That's what he's playing here. So we're gonna see some more Queensguard action. Mogwai and I both bought Queensguard, so our lists were very similar as well. So we're gonna have to see Queensguard get another win here for sure.
Yeah, I mean we can also just compare a little bit the deck list. So it's not the exact mirror. We just check it out.
Yeah, this is a discard list versus a Queensguard list, and it's the differences are. It's really the Queensguard are like the main different. Well, and of course the ships for Gameking. So
Yes.
the ships are the pressure point for Gameking, whereas the Queensguard are the pressure point for Mogwai. Each one has a different avenue. They're both kind of the same sort of, big swings. I mean, this is more like we were talking earlier about how ships or cards like warships and stuff like mangonels. Like it's kind of like a very aggressive type of card, as it can provide you sometimes more value than weather.
Yeah,
in
that's
some
right.
cases, especially if you can get 2 out.
But chips are also extremely vulnerable to stuff like Madman Lugo. So, I mean, usually a Queensguards list doesn't really have priority targets. You cannot really shoot anything from them because, I mean, you can shoot everything from them, but at the same time also nothing because nothing has special abilities. While if those 6 stats are going on the ship, that also, I mean, it's not only about dealing 6 stats, which is at the same time annihilating a Browse card, but at the same time, this Madman Lugos is also undermining the second ship of being played, because if the second ship is being played, Megamogwai can just opt in to pass and confirming a whooping card advantage. So
yeah. No, that's very true. I think Lugos as a removal early on is such a strong play, and you really can dictate the rest of the game at that point. But it does tie it when you play the Priestess. I mean, Gameking with 3 Priestess in hand, not always ideal in the first round, as there's, as the round goes long and there's nothing really in the graveyard, sometimes the Priestesses and Sigurd Reef on top of that, 4 Resurrection cards in the first round.
I mean, Megamogwai could even opt in to pass now. I mean, if he passes now, even so Gameking would have 2 options. Either he needs to play a card, I mean, that's very good for Megamogwai, or he passes and then he's just 1 whooping card ahead in the next round, basically equaling out the round. So I would actually really love to see a pass here. I think it would be very strong.
And there's so many plays. I mean, the operator into Queensguard is very
good as well.
It's
Yeah.
ideal as well. And then King Bran. King Bran's a great play. I mean, you want to get this stuff done early. I mean, we don't see Dragbondu is not present at the time,
No.
and neither is Holger. So a lot of the benefits of of making great use of your Queen's Guard. Not available to Mogwai right now, but the Operator is a huge combo, and I think that the Operator hasn't always lined up with Queen's Guard. We've seen a lot of Operator Reaver Hunters, but not a lot of Operator Queen's
Yeah,
Guard. Mogwai just opting to play the Pirate Captains to thin the deck out and just keep this round going a little bit.
that's right.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean, just conceding the first round, and you're right. The 2
yeah,
cards is a big deal, but uh, neither player quite giving up a round can be make or break, especially with what both decks can do. I mean, with one single card, the Queen's Guard can be 20 plus points, and in carryover for round 3. Or for round 2 for Gameking, you can see Morkvarg and Olgerd coming back, bringing back Ceres, and there's a lot that can happen basically immediately in round 2 that you'd have to combat right away. So tapping out those resources in round 2 is fair, and of course, getting the Operator on the Queen's Guard and kind of setting up your brand is also very important.
yeah, also really looking forward to it. I mean, Gameking could only utilize one ship until this very moment because last round, if you would have played the ship, Megamogwai could have just opted into pass then. But now, Gameking really has the opportunity to deploy the second ship, and yeah, I mean, now we have a position which is basically the same like last round, just with the difference that that Megamogwai will have one less card if you would opt into pass now. Yeah, I mean, the spy is definitely a very nice option. I definitely don't mind seeing the spy coming down here because that basically forces game team to, well, just counter spy because he has it. So
Yeah, that's
that's
true.
yeah.
I think I would like it more if Mogwai had set up the Queen's Guards already, so when he plays the Spy, at least he has the option to bring his Queen's Guard out to
Yeah,
kind of get back into the round. I feel like the Spy is maybe a little premature, but it's probably we're just going to see Uldurik getting traded back and forth. Ceres happy to be discarded.
yeah, oh,
Now Bran has
absolutely.
options with Ceres already in the graveyard. That's probably like your best possible outcome for Uldurik.
Yeah, that's great for him, and he also has the option to Coral.
Mm-hmm.
And at the moment, we don't see Coral in Game King's hand. So I think if the Coral will come down, she might create a very, very big tempo swing
Yeah.
towards Mega Mogwai.
Now this
So
is very good too for Gameking, getting a Raider out automatically, making Udaric much higher value, and possibly getting another warship. With 2 Freyas in round 2, we could see 3 warships in round 2 on top of that. You may be satisfied with the 2 ships here though. But yeah, that Udalric trade, you only
yeah,
live once.
yeah, but I think I mean, the Warship Resurrection probably won't take place because I mean, Game King tries to get value from them now and in his round. So I would be surprised if those resurrections would go out on the ships because
Hmm.
then you don't have resurrections left for the important things like
Hmm.
yeah, usually that's yeah, you want to resurrect key cards, and if you resurrect ships you don't have resurrection left.
Hmm. Game's still very close here. Mogwai is set up to make. I mean, Mogwai can have probably a couple of opportunities to play, and there is no Drake Bondu at this point, and Holger is not around as well. So the Queen's Guard are just going to be 4-5-5. I mean,
Right.
just going to be 14 points, but that's fine as well, and allows him to have a lot of reach in a pass situation and possibly enough reach to get ahead to pass. But the decks are very similar. It's going to be hard to do that.
Hmm.
As Bran is coming down now for Gameking, both leaders being activated. We have seen this deck discard Olgierd and Morkvarg, and I think the Skirmisher was the last card that was discarded.
Yeah, I mean that's usually how you want to approach it. You want to resurrect the skirmisher many, many times.
Hmm.
We still don't see Craig Bondu in Mega Mogwai's hand, so that's kind of a disadvantage for him.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean he will also be able to have more access to Ceres because Queen's Guard, obviously resurrecting Queen's Guard is immediately resurrecting Ceres. Yeah, usually not this round, of course, or is she already coming
No,
out?
she's
No.
coming out this time here, and it's this is. Oh no, I apologize.
Yeah.
There's one more tick to go,
Yeah, but,
but with
yeah.
2 priestesses in hand, it is realistic, and it gets
Yeah,
Mogwai right
definitely.
back into this round.
Definitely. Yeah, he definitely wants to make this resurrect for Ceres at least because she's like simply 7 stats for free. So you definitely don't want to miss up on them or like 6 stats. Yeah,
Hmm.
he didn't discard it by the hero power, but just standard. But it's still 6 stats
Hmm.
additionally, so why not?
And especially because you have that 4th Queen's Guard, so you know that you're happy to get
Yeah,
Ceres ticking down and out in round 1 because every time you play your Queen's Guard, you get her automatically because 4 units will always come out of the graveyard. So I think that it's important that Mogwai consider playing one more Resurrection to get Ceres out.
that's right. Yeah.
Better for round 2, and ultimately.
I mean, he won't get it her immediately if he only plants a Queen's card, because then there are like 3 resurrections. But once all the Queen's cards are in the graveyard, he only needs to resurrect one Queen's card and all will jump out.
Yeah.
So that's very, very good.
But I mean, we see both players with basically like I mean, we have 3 reses in Mogwai's hand, and Gameking's already used one of his reses and has 3
Yes.
more available. So it's interesting that the round one, like they're both fighting for round one, but they're both you're kind of on a clock a little bit because well, here comes a priestess right now. This will trigger Ceres.
Yeah, Skirmisher and Ceres, that's pretty powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So here she comes. And there's still the Coral option, right? So just the Coral threat, threatening to deal how much damage? It's like 15 plus 5. It's like 20 stats Coral, so that's not too bad.
I feel like Megamogwai is kind of like ahead of Gameking because his Gameking's Ceres is not. I think she's at 3 last time we saw it. We're gonna take another peek here, I think, if he right clicks. But oh no, that's Mogwai's screen. But we know that Ceres is very likely to come out in round 2. But you know, Mogwai has a lot more control.
Oh,
Coral
there she comes. Yeah.
Is she? Oh, well, he's considering it.
I mean, she's 23 stats at this very moment, so I wouldn't definitely not mind this play. I mean, it's just really strong. 23 stats golden card, putting you ahead 18 stats. I mean, we know that Gameking will be able to play Ermion, but if, yeah, and Ermion will also be enough.
Yeah, Ermion's devastating.
Yeah, I mean, Mogwai is standing in the fog and is also taking all the ship damage, so he probably just wants to play Coral and then say goodbye.
Yeah, but Ermion's going to count for what is that 12 damage just in pings alone, and if any raiders come in from Ermion on top of that, so 12, 7, 19 plus maybe an additional, you know, it could be up to 23 points, which
exactly,
you know, which is enough, more than enough at this point to come back.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, you want to utilize him now while you can, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yep. And yeah, there is a raider. He did draw one.
Well, that's good enough. I mean, the fog would have been enough anyway, so he didn't really need the raider.
Yeah.
But he is pretty happy to be able to discard this and the Queen's card, I'm sure.
Pitch that Queen's card.
Yeah, because of Mogwai and Olgierd, Megamogwai should let Gameking win the round. But yeah, so the only question is when. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not really useful for Megamogwai to lose the round, to win the round because of the carryover Gameking has anyways. Like he will have 8 carryover.
Yeah.
So it's better, like if your opponent has carryover, it's better to play from behind.
I mean, we see Mogwai's head. Mogwai has the capability of taking this round. 2 captains versus 1, and they both are stuck with kind of the resurrection. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the graveyard at this point. But I think Mogwai just surely because he just has more options. If he really just wanted to push for it, he could take it. But it's tough. The fog is ticking.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
The ships. I mean, he doesn't know what's in Gameking's hand. It could be, you know, another huge barrage of cannonballs from the ship. You know, do you want to take that risk?
Yeah, I'm really not sure. But I mean, most of the discard stuff has already been played, so I mean, wouldn't really mind the pirate captain here. Fog is also only doing 1 damage, and then that's it. So yeah, why not? I mean, just playing this card, overcoming the opponent's stats, and just forcing him to take action.
Yeah, the only discards we haven't seen from Gameking are Donar and Madman Lugos. We have seen Mogwai's Madman, but not Gameking's. But those cards are not in Gameking's hand. Mogwai could still make the assumption that they could be.
So yeah, I guess Megamogwai can basically opt in to do the same again. Just playing this pirate captain, forcing out Gameking, forcing another card out of Gameking. I mean, the question really is what's more valuable, right? I mean, Megamogwai can play another pirate captain in order to force the worst card out of Gameking's hand, and maybe that's not even worth it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the priest is probably looking for the skirmisher on Gameking's side to actually, if he wants to keep putting investing into this round.
I mean, at this point, it's becoming more and more expensive to play cards, so everything has to be weighted very, very well.
Mogwai kind of weighing his options here.
Yeah, I mean, he will have some options to resurrect those Queen's card. I mean, one will be to play the Queen's card alone, like next round. Yeah. Oh, he's considering just.
I think that might be it. Just taking that card and going home.
Okay, that's interesting.
So we have Olgierd is in the graveyard and Morkvarg as well. I'm not sure if Ceres was on 2 or 3. The last time we saw it, I think I saw 3, but there was a raider that was played from Ermion. So I do believe. Oh, Ceres is definitely.
Yeah, Ceres will definitely come down.
Yeah, okay.
But I think it's not that devastating because Mogwai will be able to overcome that series by with playing one Queen's Guard, so that's
Hmm.
kind of alright.
Yeah, that is what Queensguard is known for doing, making a a huge comeback with a
Mm.
single card.
And we see a lot
And
of
he's got that
priestesses, and
priestess,
that's
yeah.
like really important because
Hmm.
those priestesses will be able to resurrect skirmishers. And yeah, I mean, Gameking also drew a skirmisher, but that's not really valuable because this skirmisher won't get strong at all. So it's basically irrelevant, just being a liability even with having 7 stats. But at the same time, Mogwai will be able to resurrect both the Queen's Guard and the Skirmisher 2 additional times. The Queen's
Hmm.
Guard this turn with the Queen's Guard, and the Skirmisher this turn and next round with Sigdrifer or with a standard Priestess. Yeah,
Yeah,
so really strong
so many
position.
options. But we'll see. We could see the skirmisher this round and next round, and see Queensguard both in this round and next round, and there's still a res left over on top of that.
That's right.
Yeah, no, the Mogwai's got a lot of power at his disposal right now.
Okay, so Gameking plays the Skirmisher here.
Hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, probably.
This is probably the Queensguard, right?
No,
That's probably.
I think it might also be Ermion because Megamogwai might want to play or draw Craig Bondu, but not sure about this.
Yeah, that's
Prob-
very true. That's very true. Well, only 5 cards left in Mogwai's deck. I mean, the odds are pretty good that he does draw.
yeah.
I mean, we know that Holger and Drake are both cards that he can draw, and both of them will give value on. Well, no, not Holger. Sorry, Holger's going to go right on the skirmisher, but
That's right.
Drake for sure is. And we did see the operator.
But I'm not even sure because his hand is very fine. I think I would have kept Ermion to cycle last round. I mean, there is a Raider though, he will
Yeah.
come out for free. But still, because I mean, you don't get much value from Dona, so you might even end up discarding Dona, honestly. I mean,
Mm.
what is Dona doing, right? I mean,
Yeah, the decision is Donna or one of the priestesses. I mean, we talked about how there's so many reses at Mogwai's disposal, but he is going to discard Donnar.
I think it's very clever.
Yeah.
And now he can actually play this Queen's card and also getting Sarah out again. Yeah, so that's really powerful. So we will probably end up seeing both players having the same cards, the same amount of cards in their hand. Gameking confirming a carryover though, like a carryover of 3 stats. And or did we come back with 2, right?
Yeah, it's always
Yeah,
rounded. It's always rounded down with the resurrection.
exactly. So that will be a carryover of 3 stats, and that stands against the higher card quality which Megamogwai will be able to provide. Yeah, 4 stats, or let's say 6, 7 more stats because of the Queen's card alone, and then of course also 2 times the Skirmisher. Yeah, so I'm really curious whether Gameking does even want to continue the action here because he should be really afraid that Megamogwai can just overcome his stats immediately. Oh, that might be a
Oh,
small
just
misstep.
Donnar just to try to pull a card, and what was that? A pirate captain. That's that's the card that Mogwai wants to draw.
No, but honestly, I mean, Megamogwai can now just play the Queen's card and overcome the sets of Gameking, netting an additional card advantage into the last round. I'm not sure whether Sigdrifer is doing the job though. I mean, if he would have if he would play Queen's card now, he could basically end up with 1 additional card advantage into the last round, probably winning him the game. I'm not sure whether Skirmisher is doing the same. I don't think
It
so.
is Donnar. He is
Oh, he
resing
is also
Donnar.
Donnoring. Okay.
Well, I mean that's fair. I mean that's probably more effective than what Gameking did. And what he got a pirate captain right back. One pirate captain traded for the other.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. I mean, he could have just went into the last round with 1 whooping card advantage, and Game could have done nothing about it. I mean, he could have opted in to play Korra, but that would have just not been enough. So, yeah, really, really surprised, honestly, that Mogwai didn't opt in for that play.
Yeah,
Because
I think
Queen's
he's
card,
just saving Queensguard for the pass, so he can just like boom take it, and then he's just set up to his next round is set up very nicely with the 2 priestess and a 16-point captain. Like that's actually like that's an ideal hand. And we've seen Mogwai has gone through his whole deck. The only cards he hasn't drawn are Drake Bondu and Holger.
yeah, but he could have overcome his stats by quite a lot, by 8 actually, and Korra could have also not changed much about it. I mean, it would have been Korra, then it would have been Pirate Captain, or it would have been Resurrector. But yeah, it seems that Gameking is actually continuing to play. So I mean, that's surprising as well because oh wow.
Well,
Okay.
we've seen Game King put a lot of pressure, the res on the pirate captain.
No, sure, but is
No,
that
no, no.
enough? That's not enough again, right?
Playing a priestess before the Queen's
Oh
Guard.
wow.
Oh,
Oh,
interesting.
now he's only matching this. Oh man. Now he's
Wow.
only matching this. That's oh.
I mean, so the Queen's Guard, there were no buffs applied to the Queen's Guard. That's still 14 points. Well, no, it's more than that. It's
No, the
it's
Queen's
18
card.
points.
The
18
Queen's card
points.
are 24 stats.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he could have just
Is it
played the
24?
Queen's card and confirming the card advantage again. I mean that's
I
it's
wonder why
really
he's
interesting.
choosing to hold
Maybe
on. I
maybe
mean, the
Moko-
priestess are more valuable, aren't they, in the round of 3?
I'm not sure. I mean, maybe Mogwai. I mean, but yeah, I guess Mogwai is doing everything right because Gameking seems to continue the gameplay. So maybe Mogwai also has a read on his opponent that he says, "Hey, if I'm gonna play this line, my opponent will still continue to play no matter what because he wants to squeeze out this value from Coral."
Yeah.
And he's right about it. I mean, Gameking is just continuing to play.
Yeah, because the coral value would be very high if the Queen's Guard were out, especially now with the skirmisher. But I mean, there's only 3 plays that Mogwai can really make here, but Andy has to play. So coral, he will have to face coral at
Oh
this point,
wow.
and there's going to be this is going to be 12 points coral, so 17.
I mean, at this point, I mean, even at this point, you could just play Queen's Guard,
Yeah,
honestly.
you can
Yeah.
play Queen's Guard. I mean, Queen's Guard definitely want to play it before the last priestess, so you can get Ceres guaranteed. Um,
I mean, you don't want to equalize the stats, right? I mean, that's okay.
well, I mean, it's tough, right? So coral, I mean, coral's going to get value wherever she goes at this point.
Yeah, it's. I mean, yeah. So if Gameking opts in to play Coral, Megamogwai would be forced to play Queen's Guard. But he
I
could
mean,
also just play Queen's Guard and then the Pirate Captain, right? It doesn't change. But if Gameking would not have Coral in the hand, then Queen's Guard would be enough. So he could have also just say, hey, okay, maybe he doesn't have Coral. So
he is really reluctant to get those Queen's Guard. I mean, he's going to get Ceres at least. And Coral's going to be the last card. Gameking does not have to play that. I mean, Queen's Guard takes it, right?
yeah,
It,
Gameking still needs to. I mean, now Cyril doesn't even come back. I mean now. I
yeah,
mean, if Gameking, for example, I mean, no
mhm.
matter whether he plays Coral or not, I mean, if he just decides to pass, Megamogwai will be forced to play the Pirate Captain or the Queen's Guard, both being equally bad for him.
Yeah.
And even if he opts in for the Pirate Captain, this fourth Queen's Guard won't even be able to
Yep.
retrieve the other retrieve Cyril again. So I think that's kind of a very huge issue here.
I mean, it's clear Mogwai just did not want to play the Queen's Guard this round, and it's possibly it is
Oh
because of Coral
man,
and
it's
the pass
happening.
here.
It's happening. Oh.
So now Ceres won't come out because it'll only be the 3 resurrections. So
Yeah, but that's
um,
huge because if you would have played I mean, first of all, if you would have played the Queen's card, the Cora would have been a force play.
mhm.
So that's number one. And number two, um, if he would have played the Queen's card, even if he would have traded the Pirate Captain against Coral, even then, I mean, he would have, first of all, he would have created a card advantage in the last round. And
Mhm.
second of all, he could have then resurrected one of the Queen's card, pulling the other Queen's card, also confirming Cyril. So we are probably talking about, like, what, 20 stats for last round or something? 6 from Cyril, 1 from the resurrect, and maybe 13 from the card advantage.
I mean, it's important to note that Drake Wandu is a guaranteed draw in round 3 with a mulligan or just drawing it. So Mogwai will be able to draw Drake Wandu, play Blade Drake Bandu, and then have the buffed up Queen's Guard, which is still going to be a fair amount of stats, but losing out on Ceres and having Coral in Gameking's hand is, it is threatening.
Yeah, but he could have done it regardless. I mean, also with I mean that doesn't change the play, right? I mean, obviously he's keeping Holger, but that actually doesn't play the order of play. I mean, he could have also played Craig Bondu even with 4 Queen's Guard in the deck. Oh, he should not mulligan it.
You don't think so?
This is like 11 stats. Craig Bondu is only 10 stats.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. That is fair. I mean, but Holger would need a target to actually get those stats. Right now, there's a 1 point Morkvarg on the
Yeah,
table.
but that's enough. That's 11 stats. That's like 7 plus 1 on the Morkvarg plus 3.
Fair.
That's 11.
But that doesn't get applied to the Queen's Guard necessarily. I mean, look at that skirmisher, though.
Oh, no, that's true. No, you're right.
I mean,
yeah,
there's no way to res it.
It gets put on
It
this.
gets put
No,
on the
you're right.
skirmisher,
You're right.
No way to res it. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, this Cora, she will just win, right?
Yeah, it's tough to ignore the fact that Coral is going to be able to decimate these Queen's Guard. So I believe this is a tie. Well, is it? Let's see here.
Oh man, this year, oh man.
And Ceres, yeah, the miss out on Ceres because the Queen's Guard, I do agree that the Queen's Guard should have come out in round 1, and just enough, yeah. And the Queen's Guard should have come out in round 1 because Ceres was the difference there. He was playing around Coral in round 2 the whole time, and ultimately Coral ended up beating him anyway.
Yeah, it's insane. It's like these small decisions are really switching the entire gameplay.
So 1-1 here. Queen's Guard, we'll see Queen's Guard again now from Mogwai. Well, if he chooses to play it, of course. And Gameking ties it up in the
Yeah,
finals
1-1
here.
now. Yeah, that's really awesome.
On to the next one. I
So
mean, yeah, I think that playing Queen's Guard in round 2 to guarantee that Ceres comes out with the priestess. I mean, I do think Drake Bandu was the right call, but missing out on Ceres
yeah,
was
that's
the
right. That's right.
was the decider. I think I'm trying to think of how the round would have gone if he had played Queen's Guard and Gameking for whatever reason played Coral, and would Megamogwai have expended all of his cards to take back what Coral would have taken from him, and then it would have just been a top deck Holger or Drake Bandu with no res nor Queen's Guard to pull it out. I'm wondering if Mogwai was kind of pinched in a position where he wasn't really in a good position to win the round
Oh
anyway.
no, but the if you would have played the Resurrection on the Queen's Guard and Gameking would have played Coral, the
Mhm.
Pirate Captain would have also been enough to take the round.
Yeah, the Pirate Captain, right? 16 points. Fair enough. Yeah.
So that would have been enough. So it would have been exactly the same, but with Mogwai being able to get 1 set from the Priestess and 6 sets from Cyril
Mhm.
and an additional card,
Yeah.
which he also didn't have. It's basically just leeching Coral from Gameking's hand
Mhm.
or leaving him Coral, but confirming another additional card, which we know is the Pirate Captain, right?
Right.
So it's either minus Coral plus 7 stats or it's plus 23 stats and with no drawback. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. We see it now in hindsight. I mean, Mega Mogwai. I mean, these players aren't. It's like this is the finals, right? They are maybe overthinking some of these plays, and I
yeah.
think that Coral is just so threatening. Sometimes it's just making sure that your rows are as low as possible while still staying ahead enough to win. And well, we'll see how Mogwai plays this round with Queen's Guard as Gameking moves back to Ethna.
Mhm.
So both of these decks
Yeah.
have lost. You're looking for a win here, so it's kind of a tiebreaker.
No, I mean, of course. I mean, I think, yeah, maybe both players might do some overthinking, but it's also, of course, I mean, being in the finals, a high pressure situation. And that being said, it has also been a very long day. So those two players are already played like more than 5 hours each. But it's not only about the 5 hours of gameplay, but it's also about the probably, I mean, we started at 10, so that's like already yeah, a
It's been
lot
a
of hours, like 12, more than 12 hours being played, so more than half of a day. And so, I mean, those players are naturally tired. And yeah, I guess it's not only a combat of and a battle of wits here, but it's also a little bit a battle of stamina.
Yeah. Tournaments are always a test of endurance, and we saw
Yeah,
Challenger was a 10-hour broadcast, and that was
exactly.
that
Yeah.
was fairly tight as well. Like on top of the fact, but I mean, 7 series best of 5. Yeah, we've been here doing this.
hmm
We've had a lot of fun today, and it's been a long day. And everybody joining us today to watch this, it's been a long day of for you as well. And we're here at the finals, but these players have been talking about Gwent, strategizing and planning, and
hmm
there really is no rest when you
Yep,
know that you have another match coming up. You have a moment to be happy that you won, but then you know that
that's
a
right.
harder opponent is coming next. So Mega Mogwai, since he played first as well, he
hmm
played first against Impetuous Panda. He's been active the longest,
That's
whereas
right.
Game King had his semifinal match much later in the day,
Yep,
so he's
yep.
been active a little bit less time. So I mean, it may not actually matter, but it's just worth noting,
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
it comes down to those things.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's really the question as well, like who of those two got or keep the better
Oh,
nerves.
Holger
Yeah,
is so good here, by the way. Just getting back to the
it's
game here.
insane. It's
Yarvin
insane. It's
is
like
locked, and
crazy.
Holger's going down. The Queen's Guard's getting buffed. Mogwai is in a great position already in this game.
And yeah, and out of that also because Gameking didn't happen to draw. Ah, it's already late. Like what is the buff dwarf? Who buffs them all?
Oh, Zoltan.
Dennis.
Zoltan.
Dennis.
Oh, Dennis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
So
Well,
only because Game King didn't get
no.
Dennis, but actually
Dennis
he's not
actually isn't.
playing Dennis. He's actually playing that might be the reason.
Yeah, yeah, the
Yeah,
fact, yeah, exactly. Like, when you don't play Dennis, 5 is a pretty vulnerable number. There's a lot
yeah,
of units that actually can take care of 5 strength, and
exactly.
6 strength is difficult, especially when all you need is your dwarf to stick for 1 round, so you can buff it up and make it even harder to remove. But all of the dwarves are present in Game King's hand, so we're going to have to see. Mogwai's going to have a solution for all of these here, and I mean, we've seen the 2 major plays here. Donar with the lock,
hmm
probably hoping to grab a Mahakam Defender, but they were all in Game King's hand anyway, so it wasn't even a possibility. I didn't see what was pulled, though, so I don't know if... Oh, we're going to see it. It was a Thunderbolt Potion. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Good timing, Mogwai.
Okay, so there's a pirate, basically cycling out the other ones. Sure. Hmm. So, I mean, there is no Athene in Gameking's hand yet, and
Hmm.
usually, naturally, you want Athene to be able to toggle resilience on all your minions and all of that stuff. So, yeah, really looking forward how this will play out.
See, it's tough here. There's not really an answer at this point. I mean, Mogwai just has to, at some point.
I mean, Mogwai might just opt into pass here,
I was
or
thinking
maybe
of,
playing the Queen's Guard and then opting into pass. It makes a lot of sense because it basically undermines the gameplay of dwarves. So maybe playing so he opts in for the Clanny Moon Pirate Captain. But I mean, if you just opt in to play the Queen's Guards here, I
yeah,
mean that's
Queensguard very strong. 17 points, I believe. I think Holger buffed one of the ones at 5 to 8, 5 and 4. 17, yeah.
yeah. I mean,
So
Udalric might also just do the same.
because you can come back with the Queensguard. Yeah, I think that's a fine play as well. Not a lot of other options though, unless you wanted to start playing your pirate captains early.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I actually like the Queen's Card way more because with the Queen's Card you can just play the Queen's Card and then say goodbye, and I think that's like a very very powerful play. Specifically also this buff on the Queen's Card, it's so good, and I really think after seeing, I mean, Megamogwai actually saw all of the resilient dwarves from Gameking being played, so why should he actually continue to play? He can
Hmm.
just opt out and say, hey, yeah, you will get your carryover for one round, but hey, what do you do the turn after, right? I mean, that's really the question. And if he just opts in and pass, Megamogwai will have the ability to play just the Queen's Guard, just down the Queen's Guard, and get Ceres for free.
Hmm.
Uh,
Exactly.
so that would make the cards in the last round even, but definitely not the card quality, guys. Yeah, because dwarves, as we know, gets all the power and the quality from being able to do have some carryover, and if you undermine and prevent that, then it's looking very dire for the dwarves.
Hmm. Now that Elven Mercenary had the option of a rally or an adrenaline rush, and the rally was chosen for this Dwarven
Yeah,
Mercenary.
absolutely. I definitely think
Building
that's
a
good.
commander's horn row here, potentially.
Yeah, that's the time to pass now.
Yeah, I mean, 10 points ahead. I mean, yeah, Commander's Horn would take it, but you don't have to worry about a double Commander's Horn, the carryover that threatens with. I
Yeah.
wonder if Mogwai is going to pass here. I think that that's pretty realistic. Oh, he's going to just play. Yeah, well, we said the options were pretty limited outside of the Pirate Captain. There's really not a lot you can do unless you wanted to play Udalric,
I mean,
so
you can still pass after the horn. I mean, that's still a
it's
possibility.
true. It's only going to be tied.
But yeah,
But
it doesn't
passing
get
on even
better.
cards against dwarves does not feel very good.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, but that's that's
Hmm.
kind of the position he's put in now. Hmm. We also at the same time know that Game King doesn't play Zoltan, so maybe it's even set up in Coral because usually against a dwarf player, because there's Zoltan in the deck list and is being played, it's actually quite difficult to set up Zoltan again to set up Coral against dwarves because they can actually command us Horn,
Hmm.
and afterwards because they know that you won't play Coral because they believe that you resurrect Commander's Horns
Yep.
again with your hero ability. Instead of resurrecting Commander's Horn, the dwarf player can actually split off those dwarves with Zoltan, but that's obviously not a possibility for Game King here
Yep.
because he just doesn't play Zoltan. Yeah,
Yeah.
so which brings him in kind of a difficult spot. I mean, would he like to pass here? Giving the Skelliger player the option to just overcome with one card. That looks very weird. But does he really want to do something else? Then he might run into Coral. And Coral, I mean, in this position is like representing 36 stats. So not really sure about that either. I mean,
Hmm.
a Coral for 36 stats. I mean, that's something.
Yeah, I mean that's Coral is a very very powerful card, lots of swing. Udalric I mean, well, Mogwai is not even hesitating. He's just going to keep going in here. I mean, I thought after Udalric and then Game King plays an additional card, that could have been also an opportunity to pass. But now it's getting tougher and tougher to go into the next round without playing Coral. 13 strength for each of these when it can be knocked down to the base 6. At least to take the round if necessary. And I think that Coral might actually be that. I think Mogwai is just going to stick around until
Yeah,
he
yeah,
gets the opportunity to play Coral, which he will because he gets the last play. If this goes all the way to the end of the round, like
exactly.
it did
Yeah.
last time we saw Queen's Guard.
I mean, it's perfectly all right, right? I mean, this Cora will deliver more and more. Just having the knowledge of Game King not running Zoltan, I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
very huge. I mean, that definitely decides also the way Mogwai is choosing and opting into play here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very clever. Game King really thinking about the pass here. Not sure though. Not sure whether he should.
Yeah, he's going to do it. He's going to
Mm.
take the pass. Dwarves generally push and push, and then yeah, Mogwai immediately looking at Coral as a
Yeah, I
solution.
mean, he should definitely do so. Yeah, it's one
Yeah.
card and he can overcome. He can even reduce the carry over stats.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, I mean, there is, unless Sigtrefa is also overcoming the stats, which I'm not sure. Does she?
To
Is Sari coming as
to
well?
bring back, I'm trying to think of the cards. Yeah, Ceres. Sorry, I'm trying to think of the cards that are in Mogwai's graveyard at this point. He has 4 cards in the graveyard. Um,
Hmm. I like.
he just took a peek, and I glanced away. He's going to take
Mhm.
another peek for us. Thanks, Mogwai.
No,
2
she said
pirates.
one.
Yeah, just 2 pirates are the option here. It
No,
is.
no, he can resurrect the pirate and then he overcomes by one
Yeah,
stat. I mean,
17.
that's definitely also not too bad. I mean, it's juicy.
Hmm.
Keeping Coral.
Keeping Coral. Yeah, I mean,
No, I like. I actually.
Coral is
Yeah.
is in round 3 very, very important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Just
that's
getting
definitely
there.
viable. And this series, I mean, I heard she comes back for free.
Yeah. No, she's yeah, especially with that. Well, there was only the 3 Queens guard. We didn't see an operator, so I think that I mean she
Yeah.
will come back.
Yeah, he will be able to draw some things though, so it's not
Well,
too bad.
Ermion, yeah, there's Dragbondu, great draw.
Hmm.
And Ermion could still source. I think there's still a Raider in Mogwai's deck, so that could be one of the extra tick that Sirius needs.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I'm also not exactly sure whether whether Mogwai even wants to play any kind of cards here. Oh, also very important for Gameking to draw a Slean.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
but
that's huge.
he didn't do so. Yeah, he breaked on her, and
Drew Moran with no Isengrim as well. It's the first time we've seen that, I believe.
yeah, yeah, interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
little bit weird.
suboptimal stuff happening with Game King right now, and Mogwai drawing the cards that he's looking for. I mean, Ermion and Dragbondu, you take that any day. Those are great draws.
Yeah, I guess Mogwai passes, and
Yeah,
I can
just
definitely
gonna
get
let it
behind
go.
that play. Yeah, it's definitely clever to do so. Because he really doesn't want to encounter some resilient buffs, right? He doesn't
Hmm.
want that he plays out Craig Bondu and becomes answered by a
Hmm.
Game King actually giving resilience out to these dwarves.
And I
And
think it's going to be very, very clear that Mogwai's in a good position because the adrenaline rush isn't going to come out here. It's just going to go. It's all going to go away. It's going to be a blank board.
yeah,
I don't think adrenaline rush was played at any point, so not even Ethnic can pull it out. Yeah, there's just
that's right.
nothing Game King can do. It's going to be a blank board round 3.
Hmm.
Generally, dwarves don't have that happen. They're usually able to keep something on the board. Madman
Oh wow,
Beluga,
that's huge.
so
That's
good.
so good.
Mogwai's been getting some good draws in this series, I think.
But he might just want to get rid of Drake Bondu, really, because Drake Bondu is representing 10 stats, and 10 stats is the worst card he has in his hand at the moment.
Mm.
Or just not mulling at all, probably. It's also fine.
Under pressure on that, that mulligan timer is actually really short, especially under pressure. So it's possible that he would maybe I think he might just be reviewing his deck right now as he looks at his graveyard. It's like, should I have mulligan? But
Yeah.
I think Drake Bondu is fair. Um, I'm trying to think. Operator, he could end up getting operator, and that wouldn't have been a great card either. That would
Yeah.
be much less than Drake Bondu. So I think that's enough. Maybe being wary there. At this point, you don't want to see operator.
Yeah, true that. Game King has worse card quality in his
Hmm.
deck, but he also at the same time has one more card in his hand,
Hmm.
and also still some golds, right? I mean, there's like a Slean, there's a Glyce, so it's also not looking too bad for him, depending on what he has still in the deck. I mean, he will also pull some of this stuff soon, so we will also see about that. Moran being 11 stats, like
Yeah, Moran's gonna. I
really
mean,
11
that's gonna
stats.
force Mogwai to have to play and
The
Moran is
pirate
down now, so
first,
the
yeah.
pirate has to go down. The pirate's gonna tank that shot from Moran.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah. And he should also first play Lugos and then Armian. And that will also confirm Seri coming out, so that's not too shabby at all.
Yep. And the Queen's Guard the Queen's Guard's gonna be good as well. Now, Ithleen is finally in Game King's hand, so there are some pretty big buff opportunities if Moran's gonna flip over and perhaps something could be established on the Citro for the potions as well.
That's right.
Yep. And Aglace as well. I mean, Mogwai does not play any special cards. So Aglace is just going to be a 10 strength body.
What's happening here? Oh, no, 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 no.
No, you don't think playing Dragwan? Oh, no,
No, he's not playing
No,
it.
he
He
knows
knows
it's
it's Moran.
Moran. He
Yeah,
knows.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's funny. I didn't even consider that being an option that he would do that. But no, Moran getting decent value, but
Yeah.
ultimately no blocking of it. Olgierd just coming down as 11.
Yeah,
A lot
never
of these
coming
cards are
back.
just
So yeah, sure, that's not exceptionally strong.
a
But at
lot of
least
this
it's a
is raw
minion. I mean,
stats.
it's basically trading the card for 11 stats. That's not too bad.
Hmm.
It's not bad at all.
But we're seeing cards like, I mean, Ithilien, not really, it's round 3, right? So carryover is not
Mhm.
important. Olgierd, just going to be raw stats, the way that, just trying to get as much value from these cards as possible. So Lugos just going to take the biggest thing and throw it at something.
Yeah, but it also decreased the value from Korra, so I'm not even sure how good that is. But yeah, I
It
guess
depends on what Gameking wants to do with his remaining units that actually could be targeted by
throwing
Goro.
these, I mean, that's like
Yeah,
12 stats. Like,
this is great.
1 golden card, 19 stats.
Yeah,
We take that.
kill Moran?
Yeah,
Sure.
it's really
Sure,
good.
sure.
Let's do it. Suck.
And then
Yeah.
the buff now, the skirmisher is the skirmisher in the graveyard, or is there a Queen's Guard that's high? I don't know if we saw the
Yeah, there's a
skirmisher.
Queen's Guard in the
So
graveyard.
the Queen's Guard took that buff from Holger, I believe.
Yeah, she took the
Sorry,
buff.
that wasn't Holger. Long day. Sorry about that. That's not Holger. That's Lugos. I just had a complete blank on that.
So the Queen's Guard in the graveyard will represent kind of 17 stats.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's actually 18. It's actually
Yeah.
18 stats, plus of course Surrey coming out. So that's like 25 stats. I think the scary thing here is that Gameking actually has the last say, so he will be able to opt in into the buff as the very last. The question will be whether he will have enough minions to buff, but I think so, because he also has the Mover Dwarf. So yeah, and another Mover Dwarf.
Yeah.
So yeah, that goes very well in line, and Gameking will have the option to even horn last round.
Yeah.
Even after Coral, and that's where the card advantage really comes in very handy. So
Right.
Gameking having 1 more card here is really of tremendous importance.
I'm
Yeah.
wondering. I feel like Aglace is a fine play right now as well, because we know that Aglace is not going to be able to do anything else but just be a 10 strength body. So I mean, it seems like you're making yourself a little bit more vulnerable to things, but it's possible that he just wants to see Coral as soon as possible and maybe give some opportunities. But seeing Aglace just as a 10 strength gold body is. It seems like the correct line of play, because there's really
Yeah, absolutely.
there's no extra
Absolutely.
vulnerability given, no extra opportunities for your opponent. But
Oh wait, what? No, not the what? The Drake Bundu is 10 stats, so you should always keep the Pirate Captain. Oh, it's even more. It's even 16 stats, right? Because of the discard. Holy moly!
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Oh wow, what?
I wonder what the reasoning was behind that.
Yeah, I was also wondering.
I mean, Drake Bundu is good, but the Pirate Captain is ultimately we're talking about just raw power in this round and how important that is. It's possible that
he thought that he keeps his power.
I mean, it's maybe he was thinking that it's more valuable to play the Queen's Guard later, and that it's going to be ultimately more like the Queen's Guard is.
No, I think he thought the Pirate Captain is keeping the power if he goes into the graveyard. Do you think that's a possibility?
I don't know. I don't think Mogwai would have thought that necessarily. It's just I think maybe he just didn't evaluate it properly. Just trying to think about it. Just trying to put a little bit of extra consideration into that, because the Pirate Captain pitching a 14 strength unit in favor of keeping 16, 10 strength. It's tough. It's tough to. It's tough to get behind that, but we're gonna see how this plays out. Ithilien is representing a lot of points, as is Ethna. Aglace looks like to be the weakest card in Gameking's hand, which is still a 10 strength gold body. So
Gameking even has double last say.
Yeah,
he will be able to.
Yeah, it looks pretty good for Gameking right now.
It's very good. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's looking very good for him. Specifically with his Commander Sora, I mean, it's just so many awesome cards. So Megamogwai actually has to bridge 3 cards from Megamogwai while using 2.
Yep. Here comes Aglace with the Thunderbolt potion was stolen from
yeah,
Donar.
Yeah,
yes.
Wow.
Right.
But it's only 6 stats because of Coral, so it's not that insane.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a little bit of more stats, and yeah, who would say no to additional bonus stats? It also depends on what spells Gameking still has left in his deck, I guess, because depending on what spells he has. I mean, Coral is dealing some amount of damage. How much will that be? That will be 24, 29.
Yeah.
So 14 plus 29, 43. So Gameking has to bridge 43. it will actually be super close, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, Ithilien is probably going to take the Thunderbolt potion. That's the most value you could possibly generate, and then Ethna is probably going to just take the Commander's Horn. And yeah, that's going to be tough, right? We know the Commander's Horn is 25 because there is no Saskia.
Oh, no, he's actually using the Commander's Home first, which is yeah,
This
it's very good.
is
Oh, but he doesn't play Saskia. Oh,
Alzur's double
oh
cross
wow.
instead to play the Merc
Oh wow. Oh
into
wow. Okay.
the
Oh, this is
immune
this is some
boost.
serious stuff here. Holy. Oh wow. Okay,
Now, is
that's
that more
clever.
stats? Was that more stats between so 9 and 9, 18? I mean, no, it wasn't. Coral here. Yeah.
And wow, that's like it's not enough. It's not. I mean, a glass.
But I mean,
Isneen won't be enough, guys. That's insane.
Megamogwai going to take
Wow.
this. Now with third, okay, so if you did
Oh.
it the other way with Ithleen first, and then the Commander's Horn with Ethna, that's not necessarily that's not more points. I mean, Ithleen, what is that? That's 24 points, 20. Well, it's
No,
19 points,
it's less
19
points.
points and
Yeah.
25 points. Whereas the way they did it with Ethna and the Mercenary 9, and then the other that's 18 points.
No, but considering Coral, of course. I mean,
Considering Coral, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you had to buff something before Coral came down. Either way, I guess.
But I guess the misplay. I mean, misplay. But I guess Gameking missed out on some stats by. But I think it was fine, right? Because if he plays if he plays Ithleen first, Coral will hit harder.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
he
It's
wants
true.
to play the hero power first, and then the question is what he opts in, like the horn being 16 sets,
Hmm.
but maybe only 8 if there's Coral, and he opted in to get the mercenary for another 9 buff, which is probably less. So he should have probably just take the horn. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
for sure,
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, yeah, it's always about mitigating Coral. You know the Coral is going to be there at the
yeah,
end,
yeah, yeah.
doing as much damage as possible. And I think we've seen Coral do. The Skellige matchup with dwarves is it's very swingy depending on what you're able to actually secure. But I think in all of these games, Mogwai's been able to go through his entire deck. The list that's running the pirates that discard themselves, it's actually making his deck thin enough that he can
Yeah,
reliably get almost anything he wants. I think in every game now he's only ever had like 2 or 1 card left in his deck.
that's right.
So it just makes it very reliable to get Coral. And if the whole game plan with dwarves is buffs, then Coral's
Mhm.
always going to be a massive card. So I think that generally, especially in Gwentogether, we've seen Coral kind of upset dwarves on a
Yeah,
regular basis.
yeah.
I mean, we've seen so many powerful Corals today, and that was one of them.
30, 40, 30,
Yeah.
40, 50.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
we've seen
really.
crazy carryover at the same time, but Coral's always there just to say, no, no, this is my house. Yeah. Henselt finally making an appearance here. I apologies, this is a full test.
Full test.
Full test for Gameking.
Actually, is it? Like, this is.
Well, that's Mogwai's list. I'm not sure what. Oh no, we are looking at
Yeah,
Mogwai.
it's
Well, no,
it's
it's the
Handel against
mirror.
full test,
It is
but
the
Gameking
mirror.
has full test.
Okay,
Yeah,
that makes
that's
more
right.
sense. That makes more sense.
So yeah, very interesting. Who do you think will have the upper hand in this matchup?
Well, full test has a lot of consistency and staggered power as well as, but Henselt has a lot of tempo plays, like really huge reach and really easy ways to take rounds with Henselt himself, especially with the Kidweni looks like it's the most promising thing, and I mean, it's possible that if Mogwai wants to open with the Kidweni Sergeant, he risks Kira coming out to stop that, and that's fine, right? You take Kira for that.
Yeah, I think the general idea with this gameplay is to exactly not play the Katwani Sergeant, because if you play the so if Mogwai would have opened with one of the, I always forget the name of the buffers.
The Knight Elect.
Of the Knight
Yeah.
Elect, and then Gameking would have reacted on that by playing. I mean, he would usually play Foltest, but what I'm saying is, if Gameking opts in to play one sergeant first, Megamogwai will be able and have the ability to operate one of the sergeants, and that's like extremely powerful,
Right.
because then you get an entire buff for your entire deck, but your opponent gets nothing.
Gameking opting to not do, but here's the thing though. I mean, if Megamogwai wants, we know that Megamogwai isn't running something. Well, no, not even Vest would protect. Like if Megamogwai goes to play Henselt on the Kidweni Sergeant, Kira Metz is waiting for him to just take out everything with the Epidemic because the only other card on the table here is Dandelion. So, I mean, this is I think that maybe Gameking was considering it, and he was definitely considering full test. But I mean, this Kira Metz, this could be the biggest epidemic of the series if this goes down the way I'm thinking it's going to go down. They're all going to be 6. Doesn't matter where they are. They are not safe from
Oh
Kira.
wow!
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that Kira Gameking is rubbing his hands together. I imagine in his mind.
I guess that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Not a lot of hesitation here. Oh, Mogwai is
Oh,
not
Mogwai is
pleased.
devastated.
Not
Oh
pleased.
no.
Oh yeah, I know that's
Oh no,
so much
he
power being
forgot
dependent
about
on.
it. Mm,
Mm,
that is really rough.
yeah.
I also I have to say that I mean this Hansel, I was really, taking a look at Mogwai's list. We know that Mogwai is playing Nenneke,
Hmm.
but we also know that Game King actually isn't playing Nenneke. So,
Hmm.
what I really was thinking that Mogwai goes for the play that he operates that he operates uh,
Reaver Hunter.
the Reaper
Yeah.
Hunters, yeah, and then he has 4 Reaver Hunters. He can basically complete those Reaver Hunters also kind of with a Reaver Scout,
Hmm.
and probably like this deciding the round for him. And afterwards, he basically Nennekes all the Reaver Hunters into his deck again, playing one Reaver
Mm.
Hunter using Hansel to pull all 4 Reaver Hunters. And he can do that because Game King is not playing Hansel.
Yep.
Because if Game King would play Hansel and Nenneke, he could not do so. But in this very instance, he
Hmm.
could just opt in to do so. I think Mogwai just played too quickly there. It's
I mean, it's always a consideration, especially when you're putting those points on the board. Akira Metz is in, she's proven to be one of the best golds for Northern Realms.
yeah,
And, Game King here has now put the copy on the Kidweni Sergeant. Mogwai's already done all his buffing. That Kidweni Sergeant is more or less useless to him. It's 4 stats. But it's
exactly.
huge for Game King. It's going to bring everything into, the seven range, which is massive for the Temerian infantry men and, massive for the Reaver Hunters as well. So, and of course
This
the Blue
just
Stripes
this Kira
Commandos.
Mies, right? Like
Yeah.
a 41 Kira Mies coming down. And I think Mogai saw it coming. He just moved very quickly,
Hmm.
just played out very quickly, and then realized it like 2 seconds later.
Hmm.
And then he was just hoping, oh, please don't have her, please don't have her. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough to make those wishes because they don't always come true.
yeah, that's true.
I was trying to think of the Henfeld into Kidweni Sergeant is kind of where you want to end up,
Hmm.
but he would have to play something that was going to be lower, but it's very hard to do that because Kidweni Sergeant is buffing everything on the way up to
That's
6.
right.
Like,
That's right.
really, that's, in the mirror, the Kira Metz can be such a decider. Mogwai is, pushed ahead here now, and there was a point where Game King could have passed a card up and with points, but we're seeing that like a lot of fight. If you want peace, fight for it. And if you want round 1, you're gonna have to fight for it as well.
That's right. Okay, so now there are a lot of these knight selects.
Hmm. So Mogwai can make some stuff happen here. You can kind of build a little machine out of the Reaver
Uh,
Scout and the Knight Elect, and
That's, I definitely don't like this positioning at all. Mogwai knows that Game King is playing Igni in his list, so if he really opts into do this positioning he just chose to do, it will be only a matter of time until the operator will have the
Mhm.
same strengths as the infantry, and then and then Game King will be able to completely devastate Mogwai by playing this Igni,
There is the option that
playing something in
the
between.
Reaver Scout going onto the other
There,
side of Operator,
yeah,
even though it's not optimal, at least it keeps Operator always ahead. So
it's
we'll
true.
see if Mogwai wants to do that left side buff here.
Yeah, it's
But
true. He definitely needs to
otherwise,
disrupt it. Yeah, he
otherwise it's
definitely
going
needs
to
to
line up
disrupt
right
it a little
now.
bit.
Yeah, the
Yeah, that's
positioning is a little
clever.
tough.
That's very clever.
And there's always the opportunity that he can put something on the other side of the Knight Elect later.
That's right. That's right.
I think Mogwai is definitely considering using the Reaver Scout. It's just where is he going to place that Knight Elect?
I think it's very strong to have like 3 knight selects on your board, buffing you
Mhm.
for 6 each turn. That will definitely give him the round because against 6 stats every round, there's little Game King can do to
Mhm.
prevent this.
Mm. Well, at this point now, the positioning of the Reaver Scout actually prevents the infantrymen from reaching the operator.
Exactly.
Operator is always going to be
Exactly.
ahead in this case. So in this case, it's actually more optimal than Knight Elect actually getting the 2 buffs per turn.
That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. He's protected.
So yeah, Game King also considers continue to play or not. He knows that there are a lot of
Yeah.
Reaver Hunters potentially for Megamogwai.
It's a fair pass. Just that little 1 point advantage forcing. Mogwai will at least get to get value out of that otherwise useless Kidweni Sergeant, which is likely going to get mulliganed if not used. But
Yeah.
I guess we're going to see.
I mean, Gameking definitely has a huge advantage here because we know that his entire deck has been buffed by a very big amount of stats. So it's definitely cool for him. Also, yeah, also having this summoning circle. I mean, Mogwai also plays summoning circle in the deck, but didn't get it yet. So really,
Yeah, the decks are they're fairly similar decks. I mean, the big standout being the Night Elect for Henselt
that's right.
and the
Yeah.
Reaver Scouts and the Reaver Scouts in full test.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, I was just thinking, yeah, that I mean, Megamogwai just creates 6 stats every round, so that's pretty strong. Yeah, I guess buff is very good as well.
Yeah, we know that Henselt isn't running anything like a Lacerate or anything that's going to affect the armor of the Night Elect, so you can kind of, you're not using that insurance or that immune boost as insurance to make sure that your Night Elect machine keeps running.
That's right.
It's just,
Oh, but
stats.
those minions,
The
they are
closer,
becoming so big. Just look at that.
yeah,
I mean, everybody has 8 stats. I mean, that's so strong.
yeah. I mean, the closer that Mogwai can get this, the sooner it'll just be overtaking passively. But Girl Igni is, 18 points at this point. It's only going to get more and more. But of course, Mogwai has a decent Igni as well to counter it.
Yeah, and also this support which buffs by 6 per round. I mean, that's really huge.
Yeah, those Night
It's
Elects are
definitely
great
helping.
cards.
He can even pull the spy now, can he not? If he puts Taylor now, that's enough, yeah. He can play Taylor and Igni and then he overcomes. So he could do so.
It's up to go with Death Mold instead. Death Mold
Oh,
is
Rain.
oh, a little.
Those are
This
the
is
tricks,
great.
man. Those are the
Yeah.
tricks.
Oh, this is pretty tough. There's nothing the Gameking can play that's lower than 7. This is gonna have to just deal with this.
Now we are talking 11 stats per
Oh
turn.
wow.
12, no, 11 stats per turn.
Mogwai
Yeah.
has set himself up very nicely here. Very nicely.
I mean, 11 stats per turn is not a joke.
No. No, I mean you could. Yeah, Gameking has to play.
Yeah, even forcing
big
those
stuff.
out, it's not too bad. And now Megamogwai is actually forced to deploy this Igni.
Yeah, I think so. But I think that's, he'll play his Igni and then he'll probably respond to Two in Kind with a little bit stronger Igni. And then at that point, Mogwai's kind of out of
Oh, Mogwai
options
needs
here.
to play Igni here, otherwise he cannot overcome the stats. If he plays Igni, he's perfectly fine because, I mean, this Igni is really, really good here. I mean, he cannot even really become countered by the other Igni because he's creating a lot of stats here every turn. I mean, just 11 stats every turn. I mean,
Yeah.
that's so huge. I mean, even with Kadvani Sergeant is playing 14 stats for Megamogwai in this very situation.
It's the perfect rain. It's the perfect rain. 5 units.
Yeah,
all
it's
lined
really,
up
really strong.
that are going to be ticking for the rest of the round.
Yeah,
And
and
Alex,
Igni,
nothing to stop them.
exactly, and Igni will also never receive more value than now, so that's a very clever thing to do. Oh no, 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 no. Oh no, no, it has to be it has to be Igni. It has to be Igni.
It
Oh
has
yeah,
to be
that's
Igni.
really good. Yeah.
Not your lucky day.
Suck. And another this rain, man. Like, look at the
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
so good.
And then the Night Elect's coming right back. I mean, like there's gonna be a point where Mogwai can, like, the passive generation of points. I mean, it's something that Henselt's been like known to
Yeah.
do. I mean, I've always liked Henselt on Night Elect, just kind of building that machine and just kind of letting the passive stats just do a lot of the work for you, where you can freely kind of play a bit more liberally. But this is now a very late round here. Mogwai doesn't have a lot of options.
And that's like 11 stat creation per round.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
that's so
devastating.
silly. I mean,
Yeah.
usually if you're talking about Gwent, you're talking about like 2 stat creation, 3 stat creation, maybe 4. But I mean, 11 stats every round. And Gameking is just fighting against that, like against those 11 stats. I mean, that's insane.
But Gameking is ahead. Well, no, it's not really ahead. Not actually ahead because the Night Elects take care of it. No, there's really. I mean, yeah, he's going to respond with the Igni here. I mean, it's a great Igni.
Yeah, it's really good, yeah.
But Mogwai is capable of just kind of bouncing right back up, and it's just everything he plays, it's as if it has like an extra 11 stats attached to it.
Yeah, but
so I mean, playing the Kadveni
he may not
Sergeant.
play no, he may not play Kadveni Sergeant. I mean, that's the thing he may not play. He needs to play a Reaver Hunter. It's 11 stats, so that makes 87, which means he needs to play at least 6 stats. And it's only the big Reaver Hunter. Actually, he has to play the big Reaver Hunter because otherwise Gameking can just opt in and pass. So that's not it. That's just not enough. I mean, now Gameking can pass, and that's devastating.
I wonder if he will. I mean,
that just cost Megamogwai
yep.
an entire card. Like, this was,
Yeah.
oh man,
Oh yeah, the Reaver Hunter.
he realizes,
Mogwai's, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
he's gonna
man,
go down that extra card. Oh man.
that's, yeah.
If he had just played that Reaver Hunter,
He miscounted.
yeah,
He
he's miscounted a
miscounted.
little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
tapping his head, he's trying to stay in it. It's it's been a long day. It's just a little, the tiny little mistakes are going to be what decides this because these players have been at it a long
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
and they've run the gauntlet, and
I mean, that will cost him. I mean, that play
it's really
just
tough to come
probably
back here.
is just game. And
Yeah.
expanding one Reaver Hunter wasn't even that bad because he could have just gotten it back with Naneke, right? So I mean, here we have Naneke. He could have also gotten it back with Shani. So I mean, just playing one Reaver Hunter, that would have not been the issue. He would have just had one more card, like one entire card more. And yeah, I guess that might definitely decide this game and maybe even the series here.
Yeah.
So.
How differently it would have been. Oh, he opts to take Shani instead of Nanika. Probably because Dijkstra is not available. So it's probably more reliable just to take Shani. But I imagine Mogwai is not going to be playing anymore in this round.
Oh, I mean, the availability of Gameking cards is also not. I mean, he doesn't really want to play any of those. I mean, all those cards he has in his hand are like the entire pure powerhouses. I mean, even those Reaver Hunters getting buffed one time from Dandelion and then getting the other 4 stats. I mean, that's just so amazing. You just bring on par and then you play your other 4 Cat Vernissations.
Yeah, Gameking doesn't want to play any of these cards.
Oh wow! Yeah,
now, does
and Mogwai is so devastated.
Summoning Circle pulls creates taller right back, right? Is that correct?
Which one?
Is it only like the Summoning Circle creates taller here?
Oh,
is
okay.
that? I mean, that is right. It's not a unit played on your side of the board or anything like that. It's just a unit played.
Yeah,
oh,
so it's putting nothing.
Well,
yeah.
it's just pulling nothing. Okay, then it doesn't pull taller. Okay, good to know. I don't think I've seen that interaction using Summoning Circle on a spy. I guess it only applies to units played on your side of the board. Today I learned.
Oh wow! I mean that's so intense, and you really see Mogwai being like kind of destroyed a little bit because he was really thinking that's enough, and once he realized, I mean, it was basically like Mogwai is of course already a little bit worn down, a little bit tired from the entire game of gameplay, from the entire day of gameplay, and he went into this match and already being ahead 2-1 and having the victory in grass, like nearly in front of his hands.
Yeah.
And then he goes with the Kadvani Sergeant and he sees Hansel into like triple Kadvani Sergeant for the win, maybe winning the entire tournament, winning the match,
Yeah.
and hence confirming the entire, to win the entire thing.
Yeah.
And then there's Kira.
And it's 1 point. Yeah,
and
there's
like
Kira was a huge one.
Everything.
And then the Reaver Hunter was a huge one here too.
In the very same round, right? I mean, he just miscounted. But yeah, by 1 stat, by 2 stats, and it has such a tremendous effect. And yeah, he really like. Yeah, I mean that's really important that he comes back now from this feeling of defeat, yeah, because. I mean, it's completely not over. I mean, even if Gameking would win this game, it would still be 2-2, right? So just not thinking about the past and saying, hey, yes, I did a mistake there, but let's do it better now. That's very important to switch off this mind game and coming back from that position. And he actually still has the ability to do so because, I mean, there are Reaver Hunters available, and he will also have a summoning circle, creating another Reaver Hunter, while Gameking doesn't have the summoning circle left. So Gameking's amount of Reaver Hunters will be 3. But Mogwai's
even the Reaver Scout as well creates another Reaver Hunter.
Yeah, and Mogwai's amount of Reaver Hunters will be 4. So that's...
Is it possible that we could see a Dijkstra crazy enough to save Mogwai? Is that actually possible?
I'm not sure. I cannot tell, but maybe, yeah, maybe.
The 4 cards left in the deck, I mean, this is going to be tough because, I mean, I don't know if, I'm trying to remember what was played, but I do believe, I don't think Mogwai played his operator, so I think that's one of those cards. And we've seen all gold cards.
So you should play it now? So he might want to play Dijkstra now? Just to keep himself the option of operating? Or...
That's true, yeah, the operator would just come down as a 7-point card.
No, but I mean,
Summoning
if he
circle.
could have like duplicated some Reaver Hunters, maybe that would have done it. Not sure, because at this very moment it's better for him. I mean, if he still have an operator in the deck, it's better for him to get the 5th Reaver Hunter against the
Yeah.
4th Reaver Hunter of Gameking.
Okay. Well, here comes Dijkstra here. Buckle your seatbelts, folks. Let's see what we get.
Oh
Roll the
man!
dice.
Oh man!
Oh man, Kira.
Kira is?
I mean, Kira's just going to
Is
be
like 13 stats or
just going
what
to
is
be the
she?
buff on 2. So yeah, it's going to be 13. 13 for the buff.
That's fine. We take that.
Now I'm trying to think of what Gameking has left in his deck and what the potential is.
Yeah, Reaver Hunter. Here he is, and
Oh,
man!
So it's
and
gonna
this
be.
Reaver Hunter. Oh man! Oh no, Dijkstra. Oh
Okay,
man!
I gotta
Oh,
see
this
this.
is
Gotta
like.
see
I mean,
this.
you're kidding me
I'm
here.
right here.
I mean,
I'm right
this
here.
is like this. Oh man! Oh.
Reaver Scout.
Is it pulling? Oh, yeah, it's pulling.
There's still a Reaver Hunter
right?
left in deck.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, that's gonna
Yeah,
do
okay,
it.
that's gonna be it.
Oh man.
man.
And another Reaver Scout. Yeah. Which was pulling.
Oh yeah, which is pulling. Yeah, never mind,
yeah.
guys. Yeah, never mind. We are talking 50 stats here.
Yeah.
Casual 50 stats.
It was close game.
It was
close.
a close game though. So yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We'll take that.
Oh man, that one play. I mean, you want to see a 5-game series, right?
Absolutely,
You want to see this come down to
want
this.
to see a 5th series. So
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Mogwai set it us up there, right? So
Yeah,
make
yeah,
it really
it's calculated.
and then like calculated.
He did it for the people. He did it for
the people, guys. So thank Mogwai for that. And yeah, we will see, of course, Henselt again.
Yep. And
against dwarves.
Dwarves. Henselt
So
versus
how
dwarves.
is that? How is that matchup?
How is that matchup? I mean, they're both decks are trying to build their side of the board and kind of just do their best to kind of just develop their strength, and there's not a lot of interaction on either side of the board. It's not a lot of control, not a lot of removal. The dwarves are have their form of carryover on the board, of course, resilience, and Henselt has the carryover in all of the buffs and all the stuff that can happen later in the game with Reaver Hunters and the Temerian Infantrymen. And I mean, we saw what Mogwai was able to do in the first round, even after suffering that devastating Kira. So I wouldn't count him out, even if Gameking got a really good draw and a lot of great buffs. I mean, what are the options for him to really deal with the dwarves? I mean, there's you can get a good Kira to delete one of the Mahakam defenders.
Which is not too bad. I mean, that's
and then of course there's Margarita for one as well. Death Mold is another solution on top of that. So it may be that if and Death Mold is in Megamogwai's hand. And it's possible that he ends up with Margarita, and getting Kira would really be huge, I think.
Yeah, honestly, I actually think Mogwai definitely has the advantage here because of so many things. I mean, first of all, it's Henselt. So Henselt is actually quite good against dwarves. Second thing is that he actually plays the helpers. What are the helpers?
Yeah, the Knight Elects.
The Knights Elects.
Thank
you very much, McBeard. And the Knights Elects are forcing dwarves against the wall. So once he plays 3 Knights Elects, he will create 6 stats out of thin air every turn, which will force dwarves to pass earlier. But then all the 4 Reaver Hunters will hit. There is an operator in Mogwai's deck which will even help him further. So that's even better for him. And he also has Nenneke, which means he will be able to even confirm the Reaver Hunter combination, like the Reaver Hunter combo, 2 times. The second time with Reaver Hunter into Henselt, pulling all 4 Reaver Hunters with only 2 cards. So I think Mogwai has a tremendous advantage here if things are going right.
I wonder if this is going to come down to Dijkstra one last time. I'm ready for one more spin, Dijkstra, DJ Extra, DJ Dijkstra.
Yes, the DJ should do some tunes, some DJ tunes.
Yeah.
Mogwai is going first though, so that's kind of a small disadvantage. But
not scared of Kira Metz this time.
No, not scared of Kira Metz, but still, I mean, using Henselt here. I mean, I can get behind the line of thoughts, but then you cannot pull all of your Reaver Hunters, which would be also quite nice. But I guess, yeah, if you can pull all of these Katvani Sergeant, you're just gonna go ahead and do it. I mean, that's such a powerful play. Why not?
Yeah, 38 points is nothing to sneeze at, and 2 cards already.
And Gameking is like, oh no, that were like a lot of stats.
Yeah.
And he knows that those stats are not only on the board, but he also knows that those stats are actually in the deck.
Yeah.
So
two very different types of carryover, and both strong in their own way.
Yes.
But we know exactly how potent the dwarves can be. But those Reaver Hunters are no joke. I mean, these are 2 of some of the most powerful mechanics that are currently in Gwent right now. The Reaver Hunter bond and deploy and trio abilities are, it can be overwhelmingly strong, especially if you're able to replay Reaver Hunters and still keep like a buffed one in your deck,
That's right.
gets 15, 16, 17 points,
That's right.
and you might even be able to apply a Quen on it as well.
hmm
But now Deathmold not able to, with Alzur's double cross getting Yarpen out, Deathmold not necessarily able to deal with that. Um,
Yeah, honestly, Megamogwai could also just opt into pass here because the dwarf player like Gameking will have at least to play an additional 2 cards to overcome him.
mhm.
He opts in for the Knight Select though. On the one side to not make those guys ignoble, but I would have rather liked to see yeah, maybe Knight Selects in the middle and then basically drawing some other cards later.
Mogwai is focused.
I mean, that's fine as well. I mean, he plans to play the infantry afterwards, having one bigger minion, which protects the entire row from Igni. I mean, I don't mind that at all. It's also very powerful as well. Um,
Mogwai's just got to get his head back in the game. I hope he's not too, he's not thinking too much about the past. And
yeah, yeah,
focusing on the
exactly,
future is really
yeah.
important, I think, right
Yes.
now because this is still very winnable. I mean,
Oh,
in
absolutely.
either case, giving Gameking an opportunity. Gameking's a great player. When you give him an opportunity to win, it's very scary. But
Oh, now he
this
can
is
play
still,
Desmond.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Now
really good.
Deathmold's really good here. Whatever you can do to knock these dwarves out.
Yeah, it's also confirming bonus stats. I mean, now the Knight Selects actually got into a position where he can actually create continuous amount of stats, and that's just very important. I mean, these 2 stats every round. I mean, that's like having a weather applied on your opponent's row. I mean, that's not a joke. And he will even be able to play the infantry for 18 stats if he just wants to do so.
Well, it's scary. There's not really. I mean, the only safe place you can play it is the siege row, and well, that's all I have to say about that. Play it on the siege row. That Blue Stripes come out and Blue Stripes Commando is protecting the siege row here.
Okay. So yeah, the mirror
Mogwai's
infantry
considering
would
it.
seal the deal for this round, but I mean, I'm really not sure how much you want to push it because at this very moment you could even pass now already, making sure that Game King needs at least 2 cards to overcome you. So, I mean, that might have also be a potential option, honestly.
Yeah, it looks like. Well, he's considering it. He keeps hovering over it. I think that's fair.
And I think both plays have their merits. I mean, getting the Temerian infantrymen's out is not too bad.
Clock's ticking. Clock's ticking on this one.
I don't mind any of those. I mean, passing is also perfectly fine. If you know that your opponent needs at least 2 more cards, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going for that play.
I think he wants to get his deck nice and thin too, as soon as possible. That's always something you want to do, especially if you're running Dijkstra and you want to expect what you can draw.
That's right, yeah. You
Yeah.
also want to kind of try to make sure that you draw the Silver Hunters. I mean, honestly, if he plays the Dijkstra here and he gets either Operator or a River Hunter, I mean, let's assume he would. I mean, because he has Nanoka, he can actually play a River Hunter. And if he plays Dijkstra and he gets either a River Scout or another River Hunter or the Operator, he will be able to make 2 full River Hunter turns with also the bound, yeah, so the combo happening. So that's like insane.
Gameking's looking at the disparity in points here. Almost, it's double. It's Mogwai's got him doubled up here.
Oh, but he still
He's
continues
still
to
gonna
play
go.
though.
He's gonna go ahead and just take that thunder away. Just get as much value as you can from
Oh,
Aglace. I guess he doesn't think that Aglace is going to get a lot of value otherwise. I mean, we do know that Mogwai runs an immune boost, reinforcements,
oh,
and summoning circle. Those are all decent cards, and of course the thunder that Deathmold created into the graveyard.
yeah. I mean, Gameking wanted to set up the Igni, but the Reaver Hunter is perfectly bridging that
Yep.
opportunity, so basically blocking off Igni perfectly.
Mogwai not misplaying the Reaver Hunter this time.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a really powerful play. Like he sees the Igni coming and he blocks Igni off completely. So that's a very powerful play from Mogwai in this situation.
And that was really kind of one chance for Game King to do that. I feel like that was, like using Aglace for that when reinforcements and stuff like that is available. Like
Right.
that's a very powerful card in any. Well, I mean, even Northern Realms is a very powerful card. So you're happy to take something like that. I probably wouldn't see Summoning Circle until later. And the only other options are really immune boost. So, I mean, it's fair. It's fair to get that 13 points from Aglace, I suppose.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, with the opportunity to actually get that Igni built up, but Megamogwai was able to thwart that.
Okay, so Moverdorf comes down.
Oh,
Okay.
he's still going for it.
Oh
Now,
no, not yeah. The
well,
second
display the
River
other
Hunter.
Reaver
Yeah, that,
Hunter.
that definitely works out perfectly.
Gameking's making it very clear that he wants to destroy all of those
Oh, what is it?
sixes.
What is this summoning? The summoning circle? Is
Well,
it pulling Gavin?
well, it would pull.
Yap,
It
I
would pull
mean.
the Reaver Hunter right back again, wouldn't it? Because it would pull. It would pull the Dwarven Mercenary.
Oh yeah, the Dwarven Mercenary. Yeah,
Dwarven
that's pretty
Mercenary
good. Yeah.
actually, that's
Hmm.
probably more valuable. I mean, there's no operator, right? So this is actually a really good play, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, definitely. I mean, Moko is just making sure that he's winning this round.
Yeah. I can pull any of these, I suppose, because it will be buffed up and protected. I don't know if it makes a difference, but I mean that 9 is going to protect. But
No, it makes a lot of sense because if you would have pulled the Reaver Hunter, Gameking could have actually killed the Reaver Hunter with the Igni immediately. I mean, he will be able to do it later, but not immediately. So Megamogwai will be able to confirm some definite value from this from the Reaver Hunter. And not only about that, but I think it nearly already forces out a pass. I mean, if Mogwai is more than 20 stats ahead, I would be really surprised. Yeah, okay, yeah. I think that's
yeah,
pretty
it
clear.
gets to a point where I mean, so 17-point carry. Well, sorry, with Olgierd as well.
I mean, the dwarf player
22.
will have card advantage in the last round, so it's still very, very, very. I mean, it's like very tense. I'm like super excited because I mean there is a sheer power of this handheld combination of the many Reaver Hunters against dwarves, which actually can confirm whooping one card advantage, and one card advantage is not a joke, guys.
Yeah.
So really looking forward what will happen here. I would be really surprised not to see an instant pass from Mogwai here. Yeah, that's a definite play.
Instant pass. Yeah. I mean,
I would also think that we will see the resilience coming down here.
well, it's otherwise a terrible card to draw.
That's right.
Later. I mean, you're going to mulligan it away, so you might not see it again. But
Well, this is so exciting. I mean,
yeah, I mean, this is still anyone's game right now.
Yeah.
Right. And we still see Dijkstra in hand. So much can happen.
Dijkstra, yeah.
It could be anything, right?
I mean,
Mogwai's hand is great. He's got 3 of his gold cards. He's got Nanika, which is going to put a bunch of Reaver Hunters back in the deck. Dijkstra could pull 2 Reaver Hunters. It actually could happen. The reinforcement can pull a Reaver Hunter as well. Eventually, Gameking will Gameking may end up, it's a buff deck, right? It's going to maybe play into some level of Igni. I don't think Igni is going to be dead here.
Okay, yeah, he used the resilience. That's very clever. I mean, it won't see other use. So now we are actually playing with same amount of cards, but with Gameking getting a head start. Like he will get a head start of 12 stats. Maybe even, let's say, if we say that 2 or 3 dwarves will become played, he will become a head start of like 15 stats. But on the other hand, Megamogwai has the sheer power of these Reaver Hunters. And the only question here is how possibly or how many of those Mogwai will be able to pull off. Honestly, I think he will win. Actually, he's even getting a head start of 70 stat, but I think it will be enough for Mogwai because those Reaver Hunters, guys.
And Olgierd is Olgierd is actually very important here. I think for Gameking. Correct me if I'm wrong. I may be thinking about this too fast, but I mean, if Olgierd was not there, Gameking would be forced to play Elven Mercenary into a buff, which would just further Igni's efforts, or would end up playing something that would line up Igni, the Dwarven Mercenary, or Isengrim, which would actually allow Epidemic from Kira to kill Yarpen. So Olgierd is very important here.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. So okay, so there is a horn, but there are either not enough minions, and there's also not the possibility to resurrect it.
And to create a horn row is to create an Igni row as well. So
I mean, Isengrim is 18 stats, so that's quite strong.
But Isengrim isn't going to stop anything. But still,
there are another 11 stats from the spy, though. So I mean, we are talking about, let's say, a 16, 17 stat head start. Another 11 from the spy, making 28, and then Isengrim for, let's say, another bonus 10. So it will be close. It will be close, and will also definitely depend on what Dijkstra will tell us.
One way or another, we're going to have a champ at the end of this round.
That's right.
We got here together.
That's like, yeah, it's really, I'm also really hyped. I'm also really like super hyped.
Like this happened like a couple of times. Like whenever I catch some tournaments and it gets down to this, it almost becomes like I'm in the audience with everybody else. I just have a microphone, but I'm doing what everybody else is doing. I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, how is each player going to get there? And we're
Oh,
watching it
the
all
operator,
together.
oh man. And he's giving him the refund and he needs to play it. He cannot mulligan him away or something like
Hmm.
this. He needs to play it as 5 stats. I can tell you that the fourth Reaver Hunter is not 5 stats for Mogwai though.
Nope, not at
Oh,
all. And Dijkstra threatens as well.
this is really, really crazy.
Hmm. Hmm.
And Mogwai can even buy himself time with the spy, right? He can just play the spy and just think, hey, I'm like having not only last say, but I'm having double last say. So what you will see is Reaver Hunter as those 2 last cards, creating a lot of stats. Basically, maybe he's even able to play around Igni like this.
It's possible, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
and depending on if he plays Taller before or after Nanika, he could end up drawing a Reaver Hunter from Taller. Shani, I believe, is still in the deck for Mogwai. He hasn't played any of his gold cards yet. Correct me if
Yep.
I'm wrong. So
That's right.
that's realistically something that can come from Dijkstra as well. It's interesting because if there was a Reaver Hunter in the graveyard, Shani could pull that. But I think
Oh.
Shani's probably going to end up
Oh,
being
now,
something.
now he can play Kira. Well, that's huge. That's huge. Gameking played into Kira, like into the Pestilence.
Yeah,
Well, that might be huge. It might
these
be
five
game
these
deciding.
5 points right here. Or sorry, these 15 points right here.
Yeah, but it's more. It's more. I mean,
Mm,
it looks like 15 stats, but in reality, I mean, with the horn and with all the buffs, I mean,
that's
that's
right.
that's representing like probably another rather like 23 plus stats.
I mean, he's considering it. He's just thinking about all the other, like what else am I going to use it for? I mean,
Yeah, it's very
outside of playing
clever.
Quen on the Reaver Hunter,
And
no, he's
there
just
he
going to go ahead and
goes.
take it.
And these maggots are eating those cards away like it would
Yeah,
be nothing. Holy
yeah.
moly.
Just like the, I'm nervous and I feel like it's eating my stomach away right now. just like Kira taking care of those cards. I'm just,
Wow.
this is an incredibly close match. I mean, Commander's Horn. The only way Commander's Horn is going to get value is if it creates a row that Igni is just going to destroy, and
That's
and
right,
and
yeah.
Mogwai can play around that. Mogwai can play around Igni right now. I mean, Dijkstra gets the last say, especially. So I mean, already he's getting the last say. So Dijkstra doesn't have to. I mean, Igni will already be played at that point.
Yeah, that's insane. I think Gameking also didn't want to really play into the maggots, so
Yeah.
it's he's also thinking, nah, maybe that wasn't it.
Mm. So yeah, the decision is: do you put the Reaver Hunters? I mean, you definitely want to play Nanika before Dijkstra,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Even if
definitely,
Dijkstra plays
definitely.
Shani,
Yeah,
you're fine just taking
yeah,
Shani to bring back like a Knight
yeah.
Elect or even Death
Hmm.
Mold, maybe. Death Mold would be
Hmm.
good too.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, for sure. And here comes Nanika now. So we're going to see some Reaver Hunters go back into the
But
deck.
if you play Nenneke on the Reaver Hunters, I mean, then Shani cannot resurrect the Reaver Hunter any
Yeah,
longer.
that's what I was
So,
thinking. So like,
oh, but you can just
the sequ-
resurrect the. Oh no, no, it's yeah.
no, I think that like the best plays become. I mean, we can see it here. We do know that the Death Mold is in there. I think Death Mold might end up being, or the Knight Elect, I suppose, depending on how early it happens.
That's
Death Mold,
right.
I think, is probably going to just generate, the front loading the 10 stats right there,
Hmm.
without any sort. I mean, the Knight Elects also create Agni opportunity for Gameking. If you're trying to build a row like that.
That's right. Hmm.
So it's probably safer ultimately just to play Nanika here and just hope to get the Reaver Hunters from Dijkstra. And it really like realistically could come down to
Hmm.
Dijkstra, like absolutely. And I think it is going to.
I mean, I also think that Mogwai might be able to really play around this Igni the entire game here.
Mhm.
So, I mean, if Mogwai plays it in a way that that Game King won't be able to utilize Igni, and I think he will be able to do so, I mean, that's like huge. I mean, we are talking 20 stats or
Mhm.
something
Mhm.
here.
I'll have a mercenary coming down. I think we may see an Igni opportunity very soon for Mogwai.
Okay, it's a Thunderbolt, okay.
Yeah. So at least we know that Igni is going to get value here. 14 points and counting.
Oh yeah, definitely counting.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
this will become more. Probably even playing the Spy now. I mean, why not?
Being a card ahead in this situation is very good, but one of those cards is taller, so it's kind of a liability. He has to hope that he's going to get more value from what he draws than with taller.
You can also put Taylor into the last row to
Hmm.
confirm 15 stat Igni, so
Hmm.
that's pretty good.
Absolutely, I think he's considering that right now as he just hovered over taller and hovered over Igni.
Yeah, I think it's very clever.
I mean, it still all remains to be seen here. Interesting that he didn't choose to set up an Igni row, but
No, but I mean, he can also
He doesn't.
just
He also doesn't want to give an additional. I mean, it only helps the
exactly.
buffs, but
No, he's also probably just saying, hey, there will be at least one more buff. And the buff actually has to go on this Dwarven Mercenary at least. And then the Dwarven Mercenary will be also representing 14 stats. So why to be greedy, right? I mean, Mogwai opted in to be greedy one match ago, basically yeah, really carving for this one more stat and nearly through the game because of that. So, I mean, now he's just wanting to make it safe and rightfully so, right? I mean, he has access to 3 Reaver Hunters already. And yeah, so I definitely see his reasoning here.
I think we're going to come down and set up that Moran, which one of these Reaver Hunters is just going to have to tank that 5 damage.
Yeah, that's right. But
no, it's a very strong play.
I mean, Mogwai also knows the list, right? So he can also just decide to play a Reaver Hunter to let him tank the damage. I mean, that's not quite an issue.
I mean, we know what the Reaver Hunters are capable of, and we do know that Dijkstra can pull. Oh, well, we didn't see. Oh, we did see the Operator.
Oh, but
yeah,
if he
there is
plays
the
the
one that
Dijkstra, might there not be like cards he doesn't want to play? I think he has to
he
play a Reaver
has
Hunter.
to play the Reaver Hunter at 7 here.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's really strong as well. So yeah, he does it. Yeah, very strong play. Maybe even in the front row, because then you can also play a second Reaver Hunter without being in threat of becoming ignited. I think that's also very good as well. It's pretty funny because if you watch Gameking stats, I mean, he's whooping 47 stats ahead. And 47 stats doesn't even count Moran in. So he's basically 58 stats ahead. 58. And the horn
20
still in
points
the
from
hand.
Commander's Horn, 12 points from Thunderbolt. I mean, maybe Igni's not going to be able to represent a lot of strength,
Yeah,
but
that's right.
he's so far ahead right now. 50 points right now.
But the DJ,
the DJ
might change
can change things. I mean, Yarpen is a tasty target for Dijkstra.
Yeah.
For the Reaver Hunters, sorry.
That's right. Okay. Does he play him?
Here we go.
Here we go.
Not going to be the last play.
Also blocking off the row. I really like that because he's putting it where Gameking actually wants to buff. So he wants to buff the right side, but he's putting it exactly there where
that
he's forced to buff the left side then. And there is a
Reinforcement.
Reaver Hunter.
So here's one Reaver Hunter.
Looks good. Looks good to me. There's also a Reaver Scout, so he wants to... oh, what? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Reaver Scout into the Reaver Hunter is what you'd want, all right? Yeah, that extra point.
Yeah, it's really good.
So then the Knight Elixir also draws as well.
That's right.
And that there is still one more card, and it's just going to... There's one more card that could be pulled. It's Shawnee.
Are they
the last card that could be pulled.
They are becoming 7, right? Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
No, are they? Yeah, exactly.
He lined up an Igni row.
I mean, there's an Enneke to protect it. Yeah, I mean, there would be probably better. Okay, but now Gameking will definitely be able to get value from the Igni.
Yeah. It's looking like, I mean...
But I think the
Gameking
DJ delivers.
So
I mean, the
many
DJ
points.
definitely
I don't know if
it's close. It's freakingly
mathematically possible. But we're gonna have to see. I mean, like Reaver Hunters, they grow exponentially. Yarpen is currently the target. The way the buff works right now, like Gameking would have to either if Gameking puts the buff on the 10s, all the 14s go. If Gameking puts the buff on the other side, those two 13s become 17s, and they're gonna go. So that card is actually really difficult for Gameking to play right now. He may just have to give it to Yarpen at 19.
Okay. I mean, Mogwai could have played around the Igni.
Oh no, sorry, the 18. I don't know why. Sorry.
Yeah.
The 18.
I mean, Mogwai could have played around the Igni from Gameking by just putting all Reaver Hunters in the front row. Oh, this is something he's not allowed to. Like he should definitely play Igni now because if he plays a Reaver Hunter, he's basically making his Reaver Hunters igniable, and that might decide the game for Gameking because he really needs all 4 Reaver Hunters here. If he plays a Reaver Hunter, Gameking will probably just win.
Yep.
He needs to play Igni now. If he plays Igni, he probably wins. If he plays Reaver Hunter, he will lose. So, like, holy moly! This is too much for me.
This is still
like,
within reach.
This is like crazy. I mean, this is like crazy. No way.
Mogwai.
No way.
Mogwai, just take the 18. Just take the 22 point.
This is silly. Oh man.
I don't know.
I mean, he could have played completely around Igni, and not only did he play into Igni, but oh man.
Well, actually, The 17s have now lined up for Mogwai's
Oh, wow,
Igni.
okay, sure, you're right.
Okay, so that's a
He
little bit
saved,
different,
No,
right?
no, you're right, you're right. Okay.
I mean, and the trio is going to trigger twice, so he's going to be able to Igni and kill the 17s, and the trio is going to trigger again on Yarpin.
Oh, does it trigger twice?
Well, it's going to trigger because this one's going to get Igni'd and killed. Then the trio is going to
Oh!
come down again.
No, you're right. That's way
Get
more power.
ready.
No, you're right.
Game
you're
King
right.
getting up from his seat. He's all
Wow.
in, basically. He's pushed in.
No, that's enough. That's enough for
Oh
Mogwai.
my
Oh my
goodness.
god, I didn't see that. Have you
I
seen
didn't-
that with it? Like that
I
was
didn't-
like
I
that
know,
was
I-
like super genius. I mean, that's like the super genius.
This-
right? Not only did he set
Whoa!
up the Igni, but he also set up the triple reround.
Megamogwai
Holy
taking
moly.
it!
Like, oh my
Oh,
god.
man.
Are you
The Spanish
kidding
community.
me?
So
I mean,
I looked like
I
an
just didn't see it.
insurmountable 60 points at one point. Mogwai. Oh man.
Maybe he played deliberately. I mean, no, that would have been next level. And you cannot tell me that he deliberately played into. I mean, like before. I mean, he could have completely played around it. Do you think that he deliberately played into Igni in order to set up the Reaver Hunter twice? Now, no way, right?
I mean, he had to put it on something.
And that's,
I
like,
mean,
super
if he
silly.
didn't
Like-
have Igni, then he would have won completely. Absolutely would
But
have
like
won.
that's insane. I mean, setting up the double Igni and then also making sure that you can play your Reaver Hunters twice.
it was
That's, like, kind of-
gorgeous.
That's
it was
gorgeous.
A
Yeah,
gorgeous
that's
play.
insane. I mean that was the best match today, and I really haven't thought that the matches could have been topped at all. But
That
this
was-
I mean, are you kidding me? I mean,
Well,
guys, no, seriously. I mean, tell me. I mean, if this is not silly, I don't know what silly is. Putting them up for Igni, burning both things with Igni afterwards,
and the blocking
and then paw,
and the
Reaver
blo-
Hunter again,
and the
paw.
Dijkstra blocking, forcing Game King to play the Thunderbolt potion right here.
Super great,
Very
super
good.
great stuff. So.
So
Before the winner interview, big thanks to.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, guys. So I have
Yeah.
here. I have this thing.
we got some cue cards just
I have this thing for you.
behind
So,
the scenes. Behind
the scenes. So yeah, but exactly, yeah. So big thanks to you viewers. I mean, you already know it. Yeah, it's awesome, guys. It's awesome, guys, to have you. It's awesome. The Gwent community is awesome, and I really hope that we could deliver very good content today. And I mean, at least we enjoyed it. I hope you will too. We have some shout out for Need for Seed, making sure players and casters are sitting comfortable. Are you sitting comfortable, McBeard?
Very, very comfortable. This is a great.
Very, very.
I gotta get
comfortable.
myself one of these.
I'm really amazed. I can also
evil
put them
geniuses,
back
evil
and
geniuses.
forward. Oh, you don't see it. But those chairs are really awesome, guys.
Yeah.
So big shout out for Need for Seed. And we do have Steel Series, who provided the headsets and the equipment. We are talking about this. We are talking about this here.
Yeah, yeah.
So this Steel Series. Yeah.
These are pretty nice.
Yeah, okay, guys. Those headsets are awesome. You don't see it, but they are really, really good. And of course the equipment. Yeah. So keyboards. All stuff SteelSeries is creating is really professional equipment. I mean, we are using that on a daily basis, and that's for a reason. And we do have a massive shout out to Jasper, Marty, and Alex for the great production. And I mean, if you haven't witnessed it, I mean, I was amazed. So I mean, I already know. I mean, those guys are working like 4 weeks full time, hard on the production, and I was really expecting good stuff. But this really exceeded my expectations, and I hope yours too. So yeah. Thank you very much for that. And we go to the winners interview. Mogwai is coming there.
Mogwai, congratulations, my friend. I will hand this to you.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Mogwai,
Hello,
congratulations to your
hello.
win. We saw some ingenious, awesome plays in the last few actions.
And some big screw-ups as well, right? Like that fourth game with the Kira Mets.
It's
my
not. I mean, it doesn't
God,
matter whether you screw up, but usually, like in all of those games, specifically in Gwent, it only matters that you screw up less than your opponent. Like if you're playing better than your opponent, you will
Very
eventually
well said,
win.
well said.
And no, but in all seriousness, I mean, specifically the last setup, I mean, where you basically set it up that you can Igni both 17 minions, and then even after your River Hunters becomes Ignied, that you can play the River Hunter again to confirm the combo again.
At that point of the match, it was clear to me, like, he has Igni or Ithling. If he
That's
has
right.
Ithline,
That's
I
right.
lose. Anyways.
Yeah,
If he has
exactly.
Igni, I have a chance. And I set up just that. I have to set up the trio. That's
Yeah,
the only Igni target that he has.
that's right. That's
So
right.
he can't do Igni anything else, and
Mhm.
he'll give me the trio again, and I can potentially take it back. And when I was like basically praying, have Igni, have Igni, have Igni. And when he had it,
Yeah,
when he
yeah.
showed
I mean, he
Igni,
had Igni, and
that
I
was
mean,
so
it worked out
crazy.
really, really
He
well.
put a lot of like I wanted to disrupt the commander's horn, but I couldn't have like he didn't let me set up the Dijkstra before that.
Right,
I
right.
couldn't go for the Dijkstra. Like he played really well.
Good Dijkstra, by
Uh,
the way. He delivered. He delivered. Dijkstra is our guy.
DJ
It's
Dijkstra.
awesome. It's
So
awesome.
I do want to give a shout outs to Gameking and like the three incredible players that I faced. Like I think I was pretty lucky today, and it's great, man.
Well, I mean, sometimes luck
It's
is also a part of that, but honestly, I mean, from the games we watched, and also just from the decks you brought, right? I mean, you was very original, specifically with your Nilfgaard list, yeah, with the Mill
he
Nilfgaard
banned
list.
it. He banned my
And
emperor.
He banned it. I mean, that's also historical, so thank you for that. I mean, making your opponent ban Nilfgaard, I mean, guys,
I don't know. That's a success.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the next level. And yeah, so also playing those well. I mean, unfortunately, we couldn't see Nilfgaard gameplay from your side in the last match. That's true. But yeah, just the ban says really a lot of books alone. And you also, I mean, even the other decks, I mean, have you practiced them a lot? Or, I mean, because you played them quite well.
I have the most experience with the Nilfgaard one, obviously.
Right, right.
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't played a single game with Dagon until today.
Oh,
Dagon.
but
like-
that's
But
self-explanatory.
but
He just delivers.
it's an easier thing. I face it a lot. Because I face it a lot, I know how people play. Like it's not
That's
that I
right.
just went blind into it. Like I know how Dagon is played. But the other decks I play Hansel all the time. Hansel is
Okay,
like
okay.
probably my second favorite leader.
Oh, okay. So that
I
explains because you
yeah.
were playing those decks,
Yeah.
like specifically Henry,
No,
you're
I,
playing very well.
if,
So
yeah, anybody
yeah.
who watches my stream know that I love playing Henselt. It's just a really like Reaver Hunters is one of my favorite bronze cards in the game. It's a very cool strategy, setting them up and such. And I do have experience with that. And with Queensguard, I have less, but I have practiced quite a bit with Queensguard with Skellige. I really like King Brandon. Like I'm happy because I got to bring Bargain Dagon. I got to bring like basically some of my favorite leaders out there today.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome. And that's also the tournament format, right? You are not
Yeah.
getting screwed by the decks you don't want. You just ban the decks you don't want. And, or at least the deck you don't want
Yeah.
the most. But at the same time, you can also bring the decks you love without getting screwed by monsters, right? So
Yeah.
it's pretty awesome.
It's
And,
it's been great, like the diversity that we've seen today.
Yes,
and
yes.
like so many. I love like different approaches towards ban, like Super JJ banning my Henselt caught me off
Right,
guard,
right.
and then Game King banning my Emir. So it feels like every set has been like a different adventure for me,
Oh, yeah.
and it's been I haven't had so much fun in like a really long time.
Yeah, me neither.
it's,
So,
it's incredible,
it's
like
really
watching the
awesome, yeah.
games and being a part of it as well. And I do get I can give a shout out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
please go
Yeah,
ahead.
shout outs to my teammates at Fate to Karma, and shout outs to my boys Crokeys and Cypher. Thank you so much for helping me prepare. I hope I made you proud, senpais. And yeah, that's all.
That is
That's for shout outs, yeah.
Yeah, and the prices. Yeah, so
Oh.
where do we have those? Do we need to go?
Oh.
Okay, we need to move around.
Okay.
Oh yeah, okay. So that will be a little bit improvised. Where's the camera here? So yeah, we are improvising. That was also. That's a Gwen. Oh yeah, okay, never mind. That's a Gwen. Okay. So guys, we come to the prices of today. Yeah. Okay. So we get the second prize. Gameking, thank you very much for participating. So, and it was so close in the end. Like, it was like, you really, oh yeah, that was really great to have you, and the games were just awesome. So, thank you very much for that. Okay. And we do have the champion of champion. Are you growing by 2? No, never mind. Okay, so we do have the champion, Mogwai. Thank you very much. It's awesome. I will also say, like, the price is $600, but also a secret super mega prize for which we are not allowed to talk about, but it's very very good, guys. And yeah, you will need to probably keep yourself a time frame at the end of September for that. So, but we won't talk about that, guys. So stay tuned. Whoa! Oh yes.